There we go.
Yee.
Going live.
We should probably do a mic check. We need to get back in the habit of doing that.
Yes. I mean, it's showing up, so...
Chickadee, 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 chickadee. Did you listen to this week's JIC?
Yeah, I did.
Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Check. Check. Check, check. Yeah, it looks... It's or we'll see if it actually records.
Well, are we...
We're armed.
Our mics are armed.
Phantom power is on.
Well, we don't need it, but... Neither one of us needs it.
But the room mic needs it.
Right. I'm just saying for...
And that is picking us up.
For our sticks. Well, I can see the waveform, or the little fucking...
Yep.
EQ for you and I. So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, live feed? All Travis and Miranda.
For once, someone beats my wife in here.
That's crazy. Guess it's time to share around.
Eat my dinner. Want to do a mic check? We need to get back in the habit of doing that.
Yes. I mean, it's showing up, so...
I like the title, by the way.
Yeah. I shared it into burger memes.
Nice.
Don't really care. I'll even share it on the Dick Gravy page. Why not? Alright, shared around.
I did.
Skylar's finally in here.
Finally.
Jeez. Took you long enough. Are we good to go?
I'm ready.
Why was this thing like so much easier last week?
I don't know.
I feel like this is like really loose. There. That's better. Alright, here we go. This is episode 55. We are officially on a new feed. Even though we've been... I'll get to it.
What's my wife say?
The following journey into comics.
Journey into comics.
Journey into comics.
Journey into comics.
Journey into comics. Network production.
Heritage. Warning. Podcastrophe imminent.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, Dick. This is Podcastrophe. We are on episode 55, and as always, I am joined by my awesome co-host, Tyler.
Hey.
One of those days, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, we're officially on our own feed. We are on our own. Kinda. JIC is still hosting us over there until, they can fill the slot. But, until then, you get us in both places. But please, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already to Podcastrophe on Podbean. We're still working on getting to the other places like iTunes and Spotify and Google Play, all those places. But we are on YouTube as well at Podcastrophe Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to do is, so we do our live stream on Tuesday for the main show. Any extra content just happens whenever it happens. Tuesday's main show. Audio episode goes up on Thursday, like it always has been. And then on Friday, we release the video from the live feed to YouTube Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes.
Cool. We're making business decisions live on the show. So what's up, Tyler? How you been? Have you recovered fully from last week's ruckus?
Yes. I'm still extremely busy.
Yeah.
So, I was in class last night until almost 9 o'clock.
Damn.
And then I pounded out a video for you.
I appreciate it.
For us to talk about
I really
today.
appreciate it.
Well, I meant to do it over the weekend, like when you texted me, and then, ow, I just smashed my finger. And then, like always, I just got really busy, and then I didn't have time. Like Sunday, no shit, this was my Sunday. I woke up about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I slept downstairs in the chair because I've got some rotator cuff stuff going on, and it's very painful for me to sleep in the bed right now.
Yeah.
So if I sleep in my fucking throne, my arm isn't as immobilized or at the position it normally would be, so I don't wake up in excruciating pain. But I woke up in my throne, literally walked into the kitchen, got a plate of pancakes and sausage that Skylar had made. And I stumbled over to the kitchen. No shit, I ate like 9 fucking pancakes.
Hell yeah.
And like 6 fucking sausage patties. I mean, it was like a bear before hibernation. I was pouring it in. And then, no shit, I got up, I put my plate and stuff in the sink, I turned around and I walked straight to the couch in the other living room and fucking went back to sleep. And I slept for like probably 5 hours.
Damn.
Woke up, Skylar had went to Hooters to get lunch. I ate Hooters and then went back to sleep. I literally slept all fucking day on Sunday.
Nice.
That is all I did.
I had a really busy Sunday. So I woke up.
Would you say that you took back your Sunday?
I guess I
See
did that.
what I did there?
Gross.
Like
Anyway,
Yellow Card
so I
here.
wake up. Oh, I love Yellow Card.
Taking Back Sunday and Yellow Card are the same band.
No, they're not. Not at all.
They are absolutely the same
Not
band.
at all.
Yes.
No. One actually continued to go and actually improved upon themselves. Taking Back Sunday just died.
That was a choice, though. They chose to die.
It was probably for the best.
Ah.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to debate that.
We're not going to get into that. So, Sunday I wake up and Miranda has made breakfast. And this is like...
So your day is starting off the same as mine.
Oh, it's starting off great because, it's been a very long-ass time. I mean, it was your classic, you walk down to breakfast is already made, and it's displayed on the table for the picking,
Mm-hmm.
And there's a plate full of bacon, there's a plate full of toast.
A fucking hero's feast.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as it could be up in Joe's kitchen. So, I mean, and like this is like the first time, I feel like she's done it for me and the kids before, where she's done something similar, but this is just like the first time that I've like actually remembered it and like just taken it all in.
Well, people take for granted, like...
Oh, definitely.
Like, breakfast in general is not normally a meal that I eat anyway.
Same.
But people take for granted, like if a whole family of people sits down to eat breakfast together, normally everyone is grouchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the mirror image of dinner time.
I'm usually groggy.
I'm very fucking lethargic and grouchy and just completely out of it. But fucking sitting at the dinner table with my wife and my kid and eating breakfast is one of the more enjoyable things that I get to do on the weekend.
Yeah.
Especially as busy as I am.
She comments, I literally always cook for you and the kids. Not what I was saying at all, pal.
Yeah. Slow your roll there, pal.
Yeah.
We're talking about spending time as a family during breakfast.
Yeah. We don't always get to do that.
But, it's like... I've shit-talked Skylar a dozen times on the show about how bad of a cook she is.
Mm-hmm.
She can make about 4 things really good. And one of those things is fucking anything breakfast food.
Awesome. So
And-
one of 4 things is all breakfast.
Yes. It's easier just to encompass it that way. So, I totally know what you're saying. Like, fucking open your eyes, stumble wherever, and just, wow, look at all this food.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that if I wanted If I wanted sausage, it was right there. I don't think she made sausage, but
We're one of
there
those
was
families
bacon.
that makes sausage and bacon in the same
Oh
sitting.
man,
so.
it was. I mean, there was scrambled eggs. I didn't eat it because I'm super picky about my scrambled eggs. Like, it's got to be a certain way. And
Oh yeah, remember we debated scrambled eggs.
Oh
like
yeah.
25 episodes ago.
And you know, it's not that I don't even think I've had her scrambled eggs, but it's a fear of mine. I just need to suck it up and eat it, but the thing is, as soon as I taste something that like I am not into, it completely ruins my appetite, and then I won't want to eat the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah, like.
So why don't you eat all the rest of it and then save that thing for the last?
And that's what I need to do first before I dive into her eggs. Eggs are something that are like make or break for me. They will ruin my appetite.
I can believe it.
Oh yeah.
Bad scrambled eggs are fucking bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
Miranda's eggs are bad by any means, but you know we debated like the correct procedures for scrambled eggs, and
Let's hear this.
we'll get back. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll just refresh in it. There's three types of people. There's the people that scramble the egg before they cook it, before they put it in the pan. Okay, I do that a lot because it's convenient.
Yes.
There's people that put milk in their scrambled egg concoction.
A little bit.
Well, it just depends. There's
A
people
little bit.
who put water instead of milk. There's a combination of those people that put water and milk.
So you can't put too much liquid into the egg because it makes them super moist.
Right.
And disgusting.
And I can't eat slimy eggs, man. I can't do it.
Me either.
But if you ask a lot of professionally trained chefs, they will tell you that the best way to make scrambled eggs is don't add milk, don't add water, don't add any of that shit. Scramble the egg in the pan with whatever your lubricant is and just season it. That is how to make the most perfect scrambled eggs. And recently I've started to do that, and my eggs have actually gotten better.
Awesome. I'll have to try that out. It's been a while since I made
You'll
eggs.
have to, so you know the milk thing is also a filler. I mean, it makes it so you don't have to have so many eggs.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah, it always did
Crack-
make them poofier.
Right.
And that's what I want.
Crack another egg or two in there, and then you get the same effect. Try it. You might like it.
I will.
You just can't have the heat super high.
Yeah, and that's
Otherwise,
one
you
of the
get
things.
fucking egg skin, and I can't do egg
Yeah,
skin.
I hate that. See, the trick is to just keep moving around. But
Mm-hmm.
see, I always my theory was that if I had it super high or high-ish, it would materialize faster and therefore create the chunks that I want, not the little tiny little bits.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's all. The little tiny bits is just all how much you move it around.
all right,
Because every time
we're learning things today,
we're getting
folks.
into some egg science here. Every time you touch your concoction that you have in the pan, you are not allowing that egg protein to bind together. So every time you fucking stir it, you're breaking those bonds.
This really did get science.
I wasn't gonna get into it this much.
That's fine. That's
I was
fine,
just gonna
though.
say I've been scrambling them in the pan, and I like that better. But I mean, it's food, so I mean, I'll always talk about food. But like me, so you're a scrambled egg guy. That's your
Oh,
favorite.
fuck yeah.
That's your favorite type of eggs.
Yeah.
See, that is my least favorite type of eggs. I will eat a poached egg. I will eat a boiled egg. But fucking sunny side up egg is my favorite egg. I want that fucking yolk running down my face.
Bet you do.
Yeah, you do. But it's hard to get the perfect sunny side egg at home because you have to have the fucking temperature set just right. Otherwise, you'll fucking burn the bottom of the egg and the top of the egg won't be cooked at all. It's got to be right. And it takes longer to cook, so it's inconvenient.
Yeah. Fuck that.
But man, some fucking eggs Benedict with a little bit of hollandaise.
I'm not a fan of eggs any other way because I don't know.
So you don't like an egg sandwich?
I could eat an egg sandwich because I got bread to cover up
Okay,
the
that's fair.
blandness of the egg.
Well,
The egg white is very bland.
oh yeah, but that's why. That's what the yolk is for. The yolk's where your flavor's coming from.
Yeah.
And then you season it. But the key to a perfect egg sandwich, much like the key to a perfect grilled cheese.
Mayonnaise?
No. That again is a personal preference thing. If I want speed, I'll use mayonnaise for the egg sandwich or the grilled cheese, just because it's faster.
Yeah.
You don't have to soften butter. You just bam. It does make the bread kind of tangy, and depending on the kind of bread you use, it can make it pretty gross. If you use really sweet bread, like honey wheat or like a Hawaiian type bread,
I use potato bread.
and you use mayonnaise, it'll that sweet and that fucking tangy flavor will make it nasty.
I use potato bread.
I'm a whole wheat or rye kind of guy.
Gross.
You don't like rye bread?
No, I don't really. If it's not white or potato, which is white,
Right.
I'm not into it.
That's fair.
I'm just not into it. Like
But you
it's a texture.
you like sourdough and shit, I would imagine.
I don't mind sourdough. It's mostly just a texture thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Like I can't do wheat or whole grain.
But the point that I was trying to make is all butter should be salted. Like, people should eat salted butter. People should eat real butter, not fucking country crock. Not fucking vegetable oil spread. That shit's fucking gross. And we all grew up with it. We all had it in our fucking house.
Yeah, for sure.
But fucking treat yourself and get some good butter. Kerrygold fucking is fantastic butter. You know, it's from the fucking grass-fed cows in Ireland.
Hell yeah.
They make good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Man, this fucking show's getting really weird. It's
I'm
not
glad we
weird.
can sit and talk about breakfast.
It's not weird in the way that it normally is, which is more offsetting or off-putting.
I know we
Normally we're talking about dicks and balls and shit.
I mean, last week I don't know how many times we went back to glory holes. I don't know. And
The week before, or 2 weeks before that, or the week before that, it was fucking pegging.
It was pegging, and we've discussed all manner of butt stuff.
God.
And, and here we are.
Here we are.
Talking about cows now.
We're talking about cows and breakfast food.
Yeah.
But Land O'Lakes has a fantastic fucking salted butter.
Yeah.
Have you ever had salted butter?
I don't think so.
Try it.
If I have, I didn't know.
It's a fucking
butter is
game
butter to
changer.
me.
No.
Butter is
not
butter to me unless it's margarine. And if it's margarine, fuck margarine.
I like margarine for shit like grilled cheese, or not grilled cheese, but like macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
Again, it's a convenience thing, and you're not. I mean, I'm one of those weird people that doesn't like macaroni and cheese that's not Kraft out of the box.
Yeah,
I will shit all over fucking gourmet mac and cheese.
Really?
Yeah, you can take your shells and cheese. You can take your fucking Cracker Barrel brand that you bought and spent $9 on a box of
But
fucking
what
macaroni
if it's
and
like a
cheese.
Homemade like?
Nope, will not eat it. Will not eat it. I don't.
I'm typically the same, but I've had some real if you just fucking melt like a layer of cheddar over it. Oh
Here's the thing though, it's a texture thing for me.
Okay.
People never cook the noodle the right way. It's either overcooked or undercooked. It's either chewing on a rubber band or fucking eating raw pasta, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
And then no one ever uses the right blend of cheeses.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
If you use an extremely sharp cheddar, you have to have a lighter cheese blended in with it to offset that fucking strong taste of the extra sharp. That's why it's extra sharp!
I can never remember which cheddar I like more, mild or sharp. I can never remember.
So, I mean, we're going to keep talking about food because this is a good conversation.
It is.
My favorite cheese, if I just want, like if you walked in here and said, hey, I have a fucking case of cheese in the next room, we'll pick your poison. Colby, all day.
Yeah.
Colby is my favorite cheese. It is the perfect blend of everything mild and sharp cheddar is together. It's right in the middle. But man, I fuck with some good extra sharp cheddar. Some Havarti.
I'm gonna take you back to the Monocles days.
Oh god.
So back when I worked at Monocles, that was genuine. I just decided to act it out.
Okay.
We had a cheese. Our dough maker.
You had a cheese wheel?
No.
Damn.
I wish. Our dough mixer had an attachment, a cheese shredding attachment.
Nice.
And we would get these giant fucking 3x2 fucking blocks of cheddar cheese, and we'd cut it up into little smaller cubes, feed it in, and then
what were you using the cheddar for?
Salads, specialty pizzas like veggie or buffalo or barbecue chicken pizzas.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but mostly just salads. But yeah, I would just eat it just all the entire time I was shredding that cheese.
Well, you've seen that meme where it's the fat little French bulldog, like peeking around the corner, and it says me when I'm going to the kitchen at 2:00 in the morning to eat a bag of shredded cheese.
Yeah, I've done it.
We've all been there.
I've done it.
We've all been
anytime I make any of my dishes, which are 90% pasta dishes, I always use mozzarella cheese, and I'm always sitting there. Oh, here's a handful for the pasta. Here's a handful for my mouth.
From my mouth.
From my mouth.
With an F. Mouth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, shredded cheese, you know part of the reason shredded cheese is so fucking delicious? It's the texture.
It is.
It's the texture.
The finely shredded. Oh.
It changes the whole flavor profile of the cheese.
It does.
Because, like,
freshly cut cheese.
Oh,
is
yeah.
the fucking best. That's why I would go. I would literally just anytime I'd go back to the walk-in.
You fucking lurk around the corner when someone's fucking shredding cheese, and then as soon
I
as they
would
walk away, just.
I'd go back to the walk-in cooler and just fucking anytime. Getting a stack of doughs. Better get a handful of cheese in my mouth.
In my mouth. It's so I buy the Land O'Lakes like little fucking cheddar squares.
Yeah.
To have as like a snack and shit at work. It's like Land O'Lakes cheese is not bad, but it's not as good as like cheese that you cut straight off the block or that you shred yourself.
Yeah.
Like more times than not, if I'm cooking a dish that needs shredded cheese, unless it's like tacos, I'll fucking just buy a block of cheddar or whatever cheese. Number one, it's cheaper to just buy the block than it is to buy pre-shredded cheese. But you fucking shred that shit yourself. You can get it exactly the consistency that you want. Fucking take your game up to 11, shredding your own fucking cheese.
Shit. So, back to my story.
I'm sorry I hijacked your story.
No, it's all
about
good. No,
eggs and
it was an
cheese.
awesome fucking... No, I'm not even going to that story. I'm going back to my Sunday morning.
Oh.
We're going all the way back. So, finished breakfast.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
What did I do after breakfast?
Well, knowing
Man.
you probably stuck something in your ass.
No. Not that day.
Oh, okay. That was Saturday.
I can't remember what we did after breakfast. I felt like I don't know. Because I know we went...
It's been lost to time.
Whatever happened next, I know at 1 o'clock or so we went down to Carnahan Hall for the wedding expo.
Oh, how's
We
that?
got to check out a bunch of vendors. Jess Wadley and Suzette McNew, they have a new business where they have a photo booth for weddings. They do photo booths now. So they had a booth for their photo booth down there.
Booths and booths and booths.
It's booth squared.
I heard you like booths, so I put a booth in your booth.
We didn't do anything.
Alright.
Turns out I didn't forget. We just didn't do anything. Yeah, we checked out all the different vendors. By the way, we're getting our tuxes at Louis.
Louis. The fuck is Louis? So we're actually wearing tuxedos?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Tuxedos or suits.
That threw my whole game off.
Okay, so not for what's coming up, but for next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, next year's the big shindig.
Right.
But yeah, so we decided on Louis, WSL Mobile DJ. Probably gonna have Taze River cater. Hopefully. Or Arnie's.
Hopefully they get better, because I won't eat if they do. If they don't.
Well, I mean, I'm sure their service is different from their food.
Well, no, their food was even bad the last time I was there.
Really? Oh,
The
man.
one time I went, the service was terrible and the food was terrible.
Oh,
so,
man.
And the beer was okay.
They had these, yeah, the beer's okay. I'm not a big fan of the beer.
I had one that was really good, and I can't remember what it's called now, but our total experience was bad enough that I said I would never go back. So, anyway.
Yeah, so we went to that, and then afterwards we went and ate lunch with my mom. The previous night before, we went to the Purdue game. That was Maverick and Desire's first Purdue game, or football game in general, I think. So we were up in the stands, watching. She got
Those fucking uncomfortable bleacher seats.
Oh yeah. I think it was Miranda's first. It was definitely her first Purdue football game. I think she's gone to a Colts game. I'm not sure. She says things to me, and sometimes I listen.
We always sit in the south end zone.
Yeah,
and there's a bar right behind it.
Oh, that one. Okay, so yeah, we were on the opposite end because It's a U. We're at the base of the U.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a fun time. We were out a little late, but you know, we left a little after halftime. It was a late game. But yeah, so ate lunch with my mom, and then we watched Hereditary. No, that was Saturday night. Fuck, man. My weekend's so jumbled up.
Well,
Yeah.
Saturday night would have been when the Purdue game was.
Yep.
So you're at least partly correct on you're melding your stories together.
It's all. I'm so tired.
It all becomes a wash.
She's been to several Colts games. Never mind.
Oh, really?
I can't remember where I was going with all this story.
Well, is this when we want to talk about Hereditary?
No, we'll talk about that later.
All right.
But I do want to get into. So a couple weeks ago, I went up to the region, to Chicago, which isn't the region. It's actually Chicago.
Did you stop by a Dollar General Red Box?
I did not. That's over, way to the right of Chicago, on the other side of the state.
Okay.
I'm
sure they have Red Boxes and Dollar Generals in Chicago.
The eastern part of the region. No, I went up to Chicago to see a concert, Parkway Drive and August Burns Red. There were other bands, but I didn't care about them.
Fuck them.
It was at the Riviera Theatre, and I have not been there since October 2010, when I saw Social Distortion. And nice. That was a dab sneeze, guys. That was a dab
It was a
sneeze.
dad sneeze.
Oh yeah. We watched Hereditary Friday. See how fucked up my whole weekend was? Subaru has got me all fucked up. So, I go up there, leave alone. I leave at like 5 o'clock.
Did you go up there by yourself?
I went up there completely by myself. Nick couldn't get a baby. Nick was supposed to go up there with me, or I was supposed to go with him. One of the two. So, he couldn't get a babysitter, and he just didn't go. So I go up there, and as I'm sitting on Lakeshore Drive, I am in standstill traffic on Lakeshore Drive. All I have left is 8 miles, and I am just sitting there, going maybe 3 feet at a time.
Right.
3 feet at a time.
Such as Chicago.
And it wasn't bad until I got to that point. I mean, literally no one understands the concept of the passing lane. Everybody just stays in there and moseys, but whatever. So I'm sitting there on Lakeshore Drive, and I get a text from none other than Nick Torrez, former almost host of Podcastrophe. Shout out. So I get a text saying, I'm going to see Parkway Drive and August Burns Red tonight. I'm like, dude, I'm on Lakeshore Drive right now. He's like, what the fuck? No shit.
Did you guys sync up?
Yeah, we did.
Did you touch each other's dicks?
No, did not.
Did he touch your dick?
Nope, did not.
Did you touch his dick?
Nope, did not.
Were there any dick touching of any
Nope.
sort?
I mean, maybe in the pit.
Okay.
By accident.
All right.
Yeah, I get in there. We didn't link up until after August Burns Red. The other 3 bands had already played. Like, they moved through bands. It started at 6. I got there at 7.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 7. And those bands just booked it through it. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, and August Burns Red finished. I'm standing there and I'm looking through the crowd. Finally find him. He's down a little further into the crowd. We link up, we sit and talk for a bit, and then Parkway Drive plays. Put on a hell of a show. August Burns Red that was probably the best show I've seen them put on. They played a lot of their newer album, which I'm a big fan of. Parkway Drive played a lot of their new album, which I'm a pretty big fan of.
It's alright.
I could have done with a little more older stuff, but I was very okay with the set overall. Maybe 1 or 2 songs I could have done without and replaced with others, but this is my 4th time seeing them. I'm gonna start being picky now.
See, I'm picky out of the gate
Yeah.
because though I'm not a musician, I'm pretty critical when it comes to musicians. And if you're gonna put on a performance for someone, if you're traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast and everywhere in between, I don't think you need to change your set list from show to show. I think it's dumb if you change your set list from show to show.
They usually don't.
Right.
But it's usually like maybe 1 or 2 songs that
Yeah,
want to change.
but your overall performance, people are paying for that performance on that tour.
Yeah.
So, But if you play the same set list for 5 years, if you tour every year for 5 years and you play the same set list for 5 years and just add your new stuff in as you go, I think that's pretty lame.
It is.
All of these bands that are touring are successful because of certain songs off of certain albums that got people interested in the music. Play those.
Oh, they did. They certainly
Play
did.
those, but don't... You know what the songs that are not popular are. And I'm not saying you should just play all of your chart toppers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, they have their fucking singles from the CDs and all that, their hits, and then they have their bangers, which are the fucking songs that get the crowds going.
But then throw in some like bonus tracks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we saw Five Finger Death Punch last month, I was pretty disappointed in the overall set list that they had, and you were too.
I was.
I mean, the show was great. I really enjoyed the show, but the set list was just full of shit that I didn't need to pay to see.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to hear "Burn, Motherfucker, Burn."
No.
That's just
No.
like
I would have loved to hear it Burn It Down.
yes. You know, we obviously don't need to fucking really dive back into Five Finger Death Punch, but just I think from tour to tour your set list should change, but you really should cater your set list to why people are coming to see you.
Yeah.
They're not paying to come see you on a song that didn't even show up on the charts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. I mean that some people might disagree with me, but you know, when we saw Breaking Benjamin, I wanted to see as much fucking of their early stuff as I could.
Yeah.
You know, I love their new album. We both gave Ember very, very high marks.
I would have liked to hear more from Ember.
Yeah.
On that.
I would have liked a good split between the two, and their set list was just kind of wonky. So.
Yeah. So Parkway finishes. Great show. Once again had a blast because, you know, when Parkway Drive plays, if you go to one of their shows, you don't get a choice as to whether you're going to be in the pit or not. Like, because the energy in the room just explodes. Like, everybody that wasn't participating suddenly is, and everybody is just jumping, moving around, and it's just. And I'm not usually that person. Like, I'm a stand and headbang guy. I'm a stand and headbang, maybe scream some lyrics, pump my fists and shit.
Right.
But, like, there's something about it when, I don't know if it's just Parkway Drive or just the fact that they're my favorite band, but it just moves you. And you get involved in it. And so, like I said, I'm not a mosher. I'm not a jump. I don't jump. I don't fucking move around and shove people. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't either that day, but I jumped. I at least jumped around, you know, and I wasn't getting pissed off at the people moving me around, which normally I would. But
I would have been fucking furious.
I just know that that's part of the experience with them.
That's not the experience that I pay for. Though.
Yeah. Well, then get to the fucking back.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you should just not bump into people like an asshole.
That's not being an asshole. It's literally the entire crowd.
No.
No, that entire room. At least down on the floor.
Okay, so our last concert experience.
Mm-hmm.
If the entire lawn was doing what the people behind us were doing, that's the entire crowd.
Yeah.
That would have been okay.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely not. I don't want to fucking be bumped into. I don't want to
I guess
I don't want to be pushed down.
I guess there is a place for it. I mean, and I was in that place.
Exactly.
I just had but that just happened to be a large portion of the venue. Is the floor.
But perfect example. Out of the few concerts that I've been to, there's been a couple times that I have fucking found my way front row right up against the stage.
Oh yeah, me too.
Okay? So if you are front row watching the performance happen and people are fucking blasting you in the back,
It's just part of it.
that's not the place.
It's part of it.
Get the fuck out of here and quit blasting me in the back. I'm trying to watch the show. Be considerate of others.
It's just part of it.
Be considerate of others.
I mean, okay, so normally, if you're on the barricade, you're getting pushed into. because people are trying to get to the barricade.
Right.
And
That's not what I'm saying.
there's usually like a thin wall of people like doing that, and then there's the pit. So I guess you're right. You would be in the right place for standing there.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, so yeah, like I said, great show. Left the venue, talked to Nick a little bit, walked back to my car, which I parked in some Indian parking lot.
Nice.
Didn't take cards, so I had to walk to the local Chase
Dollar
Bank.
General.
No, Chase Bank, and pull out $20. Pay $3 to pull out $20. And I was like, I told Nick, I'm like, man, I think I just paid to have my car shipped off to a chop shop. It was still there, luckily. So I leave, and I'm like, there's no way I'm making it home tonight. Like, if I had a co-pilot, maybe. But I worked this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I've been up since 5.
You're a sleepy boy.
I'm not driving the 3 hours back to good old Lafayette. So I'd say, Nate, I'm coming over. Like, right on, man. We're watching Thor: The Dark World.
Nice. Of all things, like, yeah, I'm just watching one of the better Thor movies.
Their buddy Cody was over, and they're going through the whole MCU with him. He'd never seen it.
Oh,
So
cool.
they're just going
Cool,
one by
cool.
one. So I get on the road, I get off the road, and I'm like, man, I gotta eat something. Sure enough, as soon as I get off the highway by Nate's, there's a Domino's pizza. I was like, fuck yeah, I was the asshole that went 3 lanes over.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, it was I think 11:40 their time. So like, there's nobody on the road. I just fucking 90-degree turned in and fucking went over to Domino's, tried to go in, it was locked.
Oh.
I was like, motherfucker. So I go back to my car, trying to figure out what the hell. So I start texting Nate. I was like, what's your address? I'm going to have them fucking deliver. Because I know some stores, they close for
Right.
carry out, but not for delivery. So I had a pizza delivered to their house. And then so we get there, we finish watching Thor: The Dark World, hang out a little bit. Cody leaves. And like, after Thor: The Dark World, I was just like passing out. Cody leaves. Nate, being the most hospitable fucking person ever, pulls out his couch bed, pull out bed, words, and sets it all up for me, gets it all ready. Like, I'm just sitting there watching because he's not gonna let me help.
Right.
Sets it all up. I get all squared away and in bed. I'm literally like laying there as if like I'm waiting to be tucked in almost, but I'm not gonna do that. So
I would have asked.
Next time, Nate, be ready. And then we proceed to talk for another 6 hours.
6 hours?
I mean, okay, I think the conversation started before that, and then it didn't end until like 3:30 their time, so 4:30 my time. I was almost up for 24 hours. Yeah. Had a lot of good chats, good conversations, good conversation about this show, good conversation about other shows, just good conversation in general, and then I went to sleep. Wake up in the morning. I finished my pizza from the night before.
Noticed you had a kidney missing.
I forgot about that. And then, I had made a plan that if I was going to stay at Nate's, I brought a microphone with me. I brought my GoPro with me.
Okay.
And I made a plan. I said, if I stay at Nate's, we're going to record something. I don't know what it is, but we're going to record something. So we recorded a segment for this episode.
Okay.
And because this is a big episode. This is a first episode on our feed. The official Podcastrophe Podbean feed.
Mm-hmm.
We are on our own now, and to commemorate that, I wanted to talk to Pod Daddy Nate. So what we're gonna do?
The one that started it all.
The one that started it all. So what we're gonna do now, folks, is we're gonna switch it over to that audio. I have the audio recording about to play, live stream. You're about to get the video. So here we go, and we are done recording. Stop playing. So live stream, where's it at? Alright, here is the video from Nate's place. What's up, everybody? Dick here, and I'm sitting here with Mr. Pod Daddy himself.
Oh shit, I'm on Podcastrophe again.
Yeah, you are.
Dude, I don't even know the last time I was on your show. 17 maybe?
It was around Christmas.
Was that POV porn?
Yeah.
Well, or POVR porn?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this because I think you guys were playing a show that night, weren't you? Or no?
No, I don't remember why I was in town for something, but I came to your place to do that. I think maybe Brando and I were doing something.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Also, and
was that because you messed around with the network stuff, like the site and all that, the coding.
That was way.
That was way before.
That was a whole different universe. It feels like 2 lifetimes ago.
I know, right?
Actually,
it's crazy to believe that basically a year ago we recorded episode 4 of Podcastrophe right here in this house.
Yeah, after
the Fruits of War.
Yeah, the Fruits of War. I was fucked up after that show. We had just played The Room, and that was the first time we actually debuted How the Gods Kill.
Mm-hmm.
So funny enough, you really enjoy that song. And, to me, that was a really cool moment because it was early in Podcastrophe.
Yeah. And
you were kind of getting your bearings, and you're like, hey, I think we should just, do this episode together. And it was the girls, myself, and you.
Yeah. And
it was a lot of fun. It was a blast, and I loved it. And I think I've been on, 1 or 2 times. I know that I kind of am technically on every episode as, the blesser of the episode.
Yeah, you pop in on the chat feed, and then I'm just like, hey, it's Pod Daddy.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Pod Daddy? Because you started with Pod Father, and, I can't remember who said it, but someone's like, Pod Daddy.
It was Nick. It was on Dem Graploids.
Yes.
When we did the Fool's Week.
Yeah.
You have pretty good memory in that regard, but no, I don't mind Pod Daddy if you guys want to call me that. It's cool.
I just love the whole daddy culture that's been going around.
Yeah.
And on the internet, it's like, daddy.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess to some people maybe I'm a sex symbol. I don't fucking know. I don't think so. It is funny, but
that's the only reason I do it, because it's just comedy.
Yeah, I really don't mind it. The Podfather thing kind of came it was totally double backhanded, actually. I don't think the origin of this has ever really been talked about. I had Josh Richmond on The Voice of Survival, and as everybody knows, the long story, it's like the network and everything we have doesn't even start without him giving me incentive to start podcasting and blah, 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 blah. But when I was talking to him privately off air, I had called him. I was like, man, technically speaking, because of you, you are the podfather of all of this. And he did not accept that title. He's like, just please do not call me that. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to take it personal. He laughed. He thought it was funny. But he's like, that's unnecessary. You guys have made your own path. And I really appreciated that. But I remember I told Brando or somebody that. And then the next thing I know, you guys are calling me podfather. And I was like, okay, I can let this stick. I'm not really against it. And then I guess I'll call myself Podfather. I'm sure, in some way you do look at the network, and 10 shows. We've had a total of 14 or 13 different shows on our network all time in history, if you include shows that are no longer on the network or that are doing their own thing now or whatever. But to look back really at your journey is cool and impressive to me, because the day that I'm on the high of episode 50 is the day that I got you as a person.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even on 50. I don't, 50 was special and weird, and all these crazy things were happening surrounding the day, and it's also the baby shower, the wedding shower, or something for.
It was the baby shower.
And so then Mike and Joanna thought it was a smart idea to go get coffee before the podcast when we were already. Anyways, so we were on this tight time crunch, and you get lost in. I'm in a podcast. Mm-hmm. What do I need to say? When do I need to say it? How much time do we have? Oh my God. Especially considering we had guests from California coming on through Skype, and had a guest from Illinois coming on through Skype, and we have to make sure all of our times are locked in.
And a room just full of people.
And video games. And
too many people.
In that moment, I don't really see you being yourself, because we were all kind of stressed for the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't think it really comes through on the recording. In retrospective, I've listened, over 200, almost 200 episodes later now, as we approach 250. But with you, when we did the metal cast right after,
That was where I came into my own.
that's where I was like, I fucking get this guy. And you guys like had this plan, and you dropped like the concept of podcastrophe and shit, and like there were all these things, and it was very exciting to me. And I remember leaving that night going, somebody wants to start a show under my feed, and what does that mean for my future? And that's really, aside from, and at that point I think maybe we had just started talking about doing Journey into Wrestling. Foodies wasn't even a thing yet, so I feel like Sorta Live maybe had done their first episode. So when you guys brought that concept, like, we want to do this other thing, it was like, oh, whoa, like, we've inspired people now. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, it all started with Nick Torrez. He'd been watching Kind of Funny, he'd been listening to you guys, and like he was like, I want to do this, and he asked me to do it with him, and fast forward, never happened, and then I was guesting on Journey into Comics.
150.
I was guesting, there was that, but like I was guesting on the show more. I had my segment.
True.
Because I asked Brandon, Shuddy, who was the other guy?
We temporarily had the third in Shuddy. And he got overwhelmed. He's a full-time dad now because his kids, he got full custody of them. So he's taking that role on. He already had Mad Scientist Party Hour. I had always said in the very beginning when he joined our show, never do I want you to think I'm trying to take away from that.
Yeah.
So if it gets too much, don't feel weird about stepping away. It's not personal.
Well, so like you guys had the third co-host and
Sorta. I think it was like for 7 episodes or something like that.
And then he was on the intro for like another 20.
Correct.
Which is what kind of got me thinking. I was like, they already have they have the guy in the intro still, but he's not on the show. So I asked Brandon, I was like, do you guys want another co-host? And he's like, let me talk to Nate. And then he's like, do you want to just do a segment at first and see where it goes? And then that turned into Podcastrophe.
Well, yeah, and it was funny because, the way the ball kind of gets rolling with this, you saying you wanted to host, I remember Brandon comes to me, he's like, hey man, you remember Dick 50th, Metalcast, all this, guy who wants to do Podcastrophe, and at that point we had kind of interacted a lot on Facebook at this point. I was like, yeah, I know Dick, duh. So, what's up? And he said, well, I think he wants to be a host on JIC, what do you think? And my thought, and I don't want to speak for Brando, but at least for me, it was like, well, I don't want you to have to commit to something that you're not even ready for, because at that point, we had just ramped up. JIC was a weekly show now. We were dedicating every Monday to the show, no matter what. We were recording and making sure it came out. We were not being lackadaisical about releasing stuff, because that kind of became a small habit. You do, some point, spin your tires in podcasting if you're lost in the shuffle and you're not sure what's next.
Yes.
But I remember I consistently was on you, like, you guys ever going to do Podcastrophe? What's up with Podcastrophe? I'd love to hear Podcastrophe. I'm going to steal fucking Podcastrophe. It's going to happen.
Well, a lot of it came down to getting the equipment, and then it came down to us. Then after I got the equipment and all that, like, I needed mics, and then I guess that goes into equipment. But it all boiled down to us actually doing it, and just we would get off work at 3 a.m. and not want to do anything. He'd want to play video games. I'd want to sit on Facebook or YouTube.
Zone out, do anything other than get locked into a project.
Yeah, and when we moved in together, not long after that, it was actually the night that I saw Parkway Drive for the first time, which last night I saw them for the 4th time.
With Nick. Actually.
With Nick, yeah.
That's crazy.
He didn't go the first time, though. But literally that night on my way home, I picked up Fallout 4. And
awesome.
And then I carried on to not play it. Watched him play it instead, because he bought it too. And so by the time I'd get done watching him and I'd go play it, I'd be like, I just watched him do this. I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
So...
kind of got discouraged on playing it.
That's just how I am with video games sometimes. Like, I'm either really into video games for a little bit, or like I don't want anything to do with them, and I'm all about life. But so like life just happened, and the Podcastrophe never happened. I ended up joining a band. I ended up joining Drunk Octopus magazine.
Yeah, there were lots of projects on your plate.
Yeah,
for
both
sure.
of those things fell through, and then that's when I started going into the mixing world. I wanted to try that side of music out, mixing and producing, and that led me to guesting more on the show, and that led me to doing my segment, and then that
We started, legendarily, we had the one episode I'll never forget, which was the Blaney.
Yes.
Man, you were live on that episode with
Yes.
us. Like, you and Brando were together, Skyping
Yeah.
in, maybe.
Talking about our drunk stories.
Yeah, totally. And I think that was
That was
we
my
also
segment.
talked about the biscuit in the same
Yep.
episode. So, it's just, I remember once we kind of got at that point and 150's on the horizon, and we're pushing towards that moment, I noticed you really loving this a lot. And it wasn't just like I remember Brandon said, Blaine's having a hard time knowing what to do for our segment because he feels like he has too many things he wants to do and what to do. And, we're gearing towards this culmination of 150 now to be brutally honest with everybody. Coming into July of last year, aside from blips in the radar of briefly saying, oh, we'd love to start a network, haha, whatever the fuck that means, there was no seriousness behind that. We had not at all thought, okay, we can actually do a network. There's a feasible way to do this. So when we get closer to 150, Brandon says, we got to start working on Patreon. I had this idea I wanted to bring to you, and he had done a lot of work getting the initial constructs of the Patreon down. And Veronica and Sarah were because we were trying to figure out what are we selling people if the podcast is already free. And ultimately it came down to Veronica and Sarah were you guys should make this the point where you make it the network, make it bigger, make it not just about Journey into Comics. You could blow the door open. And you, right out of the gate, were one of the first people I thought of, but I didn't know where your head was at in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny what happened at 150.
Yeah, Brandon, he was I was talking to him one day, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do for this week's segment. I don't have a topic, and I got to get it done. I was like, I got to get it done.
You had the drive.
And I was like, he's like, dude, just start your own show.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you freaked out?
and I freaked out, but I realized, I was like, you know what? It really isn't hard to commit an hour or two a week or every other week to just talk.
Well, and considering the length of your shows now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, Jesus, 50. I mean, to just reminisce on 50 a little bit more. You guys went fucking 3 hours and change.
3.5 hours.
And you actually technically broke iTunes. Because if you go on iTunes and look at that episode, it says the episode's 4.5 hours long. I don't know why. But
that's weird.
It is very weird. I am not sure how that happened. But, yeah, I know you're looking what the fuck? But, hey, do your research. It's real.
I even listened to it on iTunes.
And you didn't notice that it said 4 hours and 31 minutes and 26 seconds or whatever the fuck it is? If it's dead onto that, I'll freak out a little bit. How do I know that number? I shouldn't know that number.
But yeah, so he said that to me, and the gears started turning, and I was like, I should just do this.
Then you RKO'd me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was pretty legendary how you guys set that up. Because Brandon and I were talking about 150 and the future, and then he was talking about Game Addicts and how things were moving forward with them. And he's like, I got this new intro will debut for Game Addicts. And I was like, yes! And I'm all excited, and then all I hear is this terrifying Silent Hill fucking siren for a minute and a half, and I'm like, what in the fuck is this siren? Is it really just a siren, Brando? What in the hell?
I heard it too, because I was in the other room, and I could just hear it through your headphones. It was so loud.
It was very loud, man.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's not my intro.
And it's something had to do with a headphone jack on the laptop or something. Wasn't
Yeah.
actually letting the audio play. So then when he actually plays it, and it was Podcastrophe Eminent, and I was like, oh fuck, it's on. And then you came on as a guest, and it was like, man, that's a beautiful moment in time. And then it was like, okay, well now we have someone who's doing something again inspired by what we're doing. So then what came next, still not a part of the plan. Even when we were doing 150, that wasn't a part of the plan. So when the idea of the network gets brought up, like really going for it, it was like, well, Dick just said he was doing Podcastrophe, and I think I casually messaged you. I know we talked about it on the show, and on the show you were like, it's going to be my own feed. Like you were like, I'm doing my own thing. And it just, things totally shifted because everything shifted when the idea of the network really got going. And Brandon's like, dude, just come on our feed. Like, you don't have to do any extra work. You just record the podcast. We'll do the rest. And you started bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And then you just had to have more.
Well, so I ended up recording like 3 episodes in a week or 2 weeks. And I was just sitting there, and it, like, before... I can't remember how this all went down, but I remember at one point, like, I had backlogged so much that I didn't have to record for a few weeks. So when it finally came time that I had to record, I was like, oh, fuck, I got to record. Like, I just forgot.
Scramble mode.
I just forgot. And I'm like, so I just wanted to do
I feel
it
like that
week.
was He's Not That Fast, episode 8. That
Yeah.
was the first time you came out of that. Because I remember when we recorded, I don't even know if on Fruits of War... we say it's episode 4 because I think you were uncertain of what order it was actually going to be in.
Yeah.
So you're like, it might be 3, it might be 4, 5, something like that, you know, like so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, fuck. I don't think it wasn't until like we got. It was nice to actually get a set schedule every Wednesday, live stream, or at least live streaming every Wednesday, and especially Tyler joining Podcastrophe was easily one of the best things that we could have ever done, because he's very insightful, he's very very intelligent, and very he drives the conversation. He is the content of the show, and like I've kind of taken a back seat since he's joined, because I'm the type of personality that if bigger personality is in the room, I will let them have the room, and that's just how I am. Like I like to listen.
Totally,
I will
get enveloped
always,
in the conversation.
I will always listen before I talk, because I just enjoy it.
I think that's what makes you unique as a podcaster too, because some people in podcasting, and not to call anybody specifically out, but it just is a happenstance that when you're on a podcast, I'm not really listening to what you're saying, and some people get lost in that, like, what am I about to say next?
Yes.
There's no fluidity of like hearing what you say, absorbing it.
That's Podcastrophe though. It's a conversation.
Exactly, and that
conversation.
And I think that because I think you're going to play this on your live stream or something, so not to jerk the live stream off, but publicly, it just
it's under the table.
It was under the table. Okay, but you guys innovated our network to another level because you brought the idea of live streaming on. You guys superseded Game Addicts, because Game Addicts had the idea for Twitch and they wanted to do this Twitch thing, and Twitch, and you were like, fuck it, we're doing Facebook. And you took the fucking forefront. I mean, episode 1, you're live streaming that. Mm-hmm. And you've done it throughout, and not every episode, right? There's been a couple that you
There's
haven't.
A bunch that we didn't.
Because, like, I know we didn't record here, obviously, when we did Fruits of War.
I mean, once we got a set schedule, for sure, that's when we started live streaming every single episode.
Yeah, I don't know, did I...
There may have been one, I think it was the one with Austin. That was the one that didn't get live streamed.
Because you were also not on location.
I had to get that done. Like, there was no other way I was going to get Austin on there without him backing out last second or something. So I had to sneak a Zoom into a party and be like, just, hey, we're going to play Cards Against Humanity. By the way, all these mics are set up.
In the art of true podcasting. That was very good.
And, that was a fun episode.
Whoever taught you that podcasting trick, you learned well.
Nobody. I just did it.
Oh, I thought you learned it from me, because that's like my MO too. It was by the way, we're also recording a podcast.
No,
or what?
Yeah, I just went into that, and I set up the mics. I'm like, hey guys, that's a press record. We're playing Cards Against Humanity.
And we're on.
And it was a soft open. I loved doing that too. Like where I had just hit record and the conversation was already happening.
And then you get into the episode. Yeah.
I can't do that as much now because I hit record and eventually that intro is gonna play.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but I could still do that if I were to ever go on location. Which this is episode 55. we're time traveling right now.
Because 54 hasn't happened.
Yeah,
yet.
54 hasn't happened. It's much like the Fruits of War. We're
And
time
actually,
traveling.
today is episode 53's release.
Yes.
This is timey-wimey as
Crazy.
shit.
It's crazy.
Okay.
But so this is episode 55. We are on our own new feed now. Officially. This is the first official new episode on the Podcastrophe Podbean.
It's crazy. You're all grown up.
All grown up.
I think it's weird because this has been some people might look at this and go, what the fuck's happening behind the scenes? I think it's important that we're talking about this openly because this has kind of always been a goal. It's for every show to eventually have a live feed if they feel they need it or if it's necessary, because some shows, like your show specifically, are not containable within the network, mainly because you are craving the idea of creating even more content.
Yeah.
Which fucking inspires me because now you're going to have subsidiary shows that are your own thing.
Yeah.
That are still a part of our branch of whatever, and
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome across the board.
It's more coverage for the network, you know.
Totally, and you guys can hit markets and talk about shit that no one's touching, and it doesn't necessarily end up a main feed show, but it does end up giving you a whole new audience to see what you guys are doing.
The main thing I want to do here is I want to be able to create content without clogging the network feed up.
Yeah,
I want to be able to just throw shit out there as soon as it's ready to go and not worry about stepping on the poor reports or poor entertainment, poor news. I don't want to step on their toes. I don't want to step on Kids for Sale toes. I don't want all of that. So I just want to put stuff out there for people to enjoy.
And I think that this, I mean, look, at some point, if things work how we want it to, what you're doing is just going to essentially still be the same thing, but it'll just be when you go to journeyintocomics.com, you now see that there's Podcastrophe's RSS, and here's the stuff they've put out, and here's Kids for Sale's RSS and the stuff that they've put out or whatever. And this is just an opportunity for us to expand without, like you said, clogging the main feed because, again, we're unique in the fact that we have one feed on a network. A lot of networks go, well, every show has to have its own feed and blah, 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 blah. I don't really believe in that. I kind of have always, and I think you get why, believed in the community idea of this because it draws more people in. Now more people are interested. Now you're getting cross-contamination and pollination of shows and things where the Kids for Sale folks need to have you and Miranda on at some time or Tyler and Skylar on or me and Veronica. There are endless opportunities now that have been created because the way our network runs. Mm-hmm. Because if everybody was on their own feed doing their own thing and never had to interact with anybody, they wouldn't. Mm-hmm. They'd just be on their own journey doing their own thing, not interacting with anybody.
And I love the fact that we have this network all in one feed, and that and I know I'm leaving the feed, but it's cool to have it there in the beginning because I got to know everybody, and our group chat is awesome.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yes, absolutely. For two different reasons.
Yes.
One's very professional. One is tomfoolery.
There's some tomfoolery on the very professional as well.
Sometimes, once in a while, yeah, we should be honest.
I mean, if you just look at the name itself.
So we should talk, though, about also, because some people who are hearing us today are also still hearing us on the Journey into Comics Network. And they're going, I thought that Podcastrophe went to their own feed. What the fuck am I listening to?
Well, the plan is that I want, and you've given me permission to keep new episodes of Podcastrophe on the network feed for a couple weeks.
Well, technically, as long as you want to, but...
So, I mean, you could technically keep that spot there for Podcastrophe until another show comes along, if you so choose.
That's probably what's happening.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'm completely fine with that.
You know, I know I've got, it's interesting, and not to we're just tangenting all over the place here, but good to know. It's like a little mini network meeting, but, you know, there are a lot of people and concepts and ideas being tossed my way that people want in on this now. And it's not about filtering out bad ideas. It's about helping anybody who's coming on hone their idea. Because the deal is this. In January, there are certain shows that are on our network right now that in January won't be here. Not because they're going away forever, but Adulting Ain't Easy. Their season 1 ends when those two get married. They need to take a break and have a wedding and enjoy
themselves. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't want them being clogged down with that. Well, we got to do this podcast while we're all freshly married and wanting to do other things.
Although that would be a great idea.
Maybe they still will record like a backlog to start for their next season. That's their own jam. But we're going to need a Wednesday show. And then, you've got Kids for Sale might take a breather. Gallifradio definitely taking a breather at December because Doctor Who will go off air at the
We can only
Christmas.
talk about so much Doctor Who.
And it's good to just, shut up. And it's good to limit it, and whatnot, And shows like Brews with Dudes, I just like Podcastrophe admire Nick just as much because you guys...
I think Brews with Dudes should be its own feed as well.
At some point, I feel like he's going to make that move. I don't see why he wouldn't at some point. Maybe around 50 or 60. It's whatever Nick wants, honestly. Mm-hmm. I don't want to ever make him feel like he's getting kicked off the network feed.
No.
Because it's not what it's about. You're going to your own feed, still a member of our network.
Brews with Dudes is just so huge. It is so huge, it needs its own feed. Because it's got to be so confusing for people to be like, well, which is another reason I wanted to get my own feed. Oh, yeah, well, I have a podcast. Oh, well, where can I find it? Well, you gotta go to Journey into Comics and then subscribe there, and then you get it. And then you got all these other shows, which is awesome. But if you don't want them, then that sucks. But
well, and the thing too, and you're getting in on the deep end of this, is you're gonna find out, as you probably already know, that the having your own feed is money a month, no matter what's coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is rough in that regard. I mean,
you gotta make sacrifices.
You do what you gotta do, but I feel like any show that is ready to evolve into the upper echelon of like doing their own feed, it does nothing but help us, right? Mm-hmm. Because I mean, even in the retrospective, like Game Addicts, if they were still attached to the tendril of our feed, the concept is they're doing their own thing, and now we have a spot open on the main feed, but they are representing us, we're representing them, and it's that whole Brian K. Morris, the rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah.
If one of us goes up, we all go up. So Podcastrophe moves to its own feed. It just strengthens our network now. We're just getting, it's a bigger tendril. You've become our first, like we are WWE's Raw, and you are now our SmackDown,
I mean, because every show mentions another show at some point during their episode.
Almost every week. Every episode of every week.
And I mean, I'm like the king of plugs. Fucking anytime something relatable to another show pops up, I was like, oh, like this episode or this show we have on our network. I mean, I do it mostly with Brews with Dudes just because I talk about Nick a lot.
Yeah.
Nick and Dick, come on.
There you guys are forever. I saw that post.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it.
There's a story behind that post.
Oh.
I'll get into it on the actual episode 55.
Ooh, you guys will have to check in there, which...
I hope I remember.
Well, if you're watching this right now, and you and Tyler are watching it on your screen as it's playing live on the live stream...
It might just go... We might throw that up, and we might just walk out and fuck off for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
Interesting.
We might not be there.
The fuck off crew. Podcastrophe, the fuck off crew. See, it's crazy to think too, because and this is something we've not even officially talked about, but you still have the opportunity, even with Podcastrophe having its own feed, you having your own sub-genre of shows that you're going to be putting on your own feed, you still could create a brand new show for the network that would be on the main feed if you ever wanted to. And it doesn't it doesn't change anything because, again, it's the strengthening and the evolving of what we're trying to accomplish here, which was never the plan. Like going and we're... By the time your episode 55 comes out, we will be 1 month, I think, removed from being 1 year where every day of the week we've released an episode on our feed. So 365 episodes in a year. I feel pretty accomplished by that concept. And I'm hopeful we can keep the streak going. So far, nothing terrible has happened that's prevented an episode from going out. But,
no. I mean, there's been a couple close calls with Brews with Dudes.
There's been so many close calls.
There's been a couple close calls with Podcastrophe just because... Since I've been doing my own uploading for it, like I just, oh shit, I gotta mix and upload that right now.
Like, oh yeah, I actually have to go beyond that.
So Patreon people, sorry.
Sometimes, yeah. Actually, I gotta get both your Podcastrophes up because, but it's Patreon. That's my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. Like I'm very excited to make this move to our own feed because the whole purpose of Podcastrophe is to have a conversation first and foremost. Second of all, I have this cast of characters in my life.
Oh yeah.
I have all these people in my life that I love very dearly, and they I want people to know these people. I want these people to know each other if they watch or listen to the show. Like, I have so many people in my life, and they're in different groups. So, and I'm always talking to one group about this other person, this other group, and this other person in this group, and I'm talking about this person, and like they never get to cross. So they get to cross if they watch or listen. One, they get to cross if they both guessed.
Yep.
Which I've done that a few times now, and that's been really fun.
Yeah, actually, to time travel, episode 54, you had some interesting guests, I hope.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You had interesting guests, I hope.
I had interesting guests this coming Tuesday. I mean, when I brought on Shane and Ryan from Only Human, I thought Shane and Tyler were going to hate each other. And they ended up fucking just like, they were eye-fucking each other the whole time.
Bonding hard.
Oh, yeah. And like, Tyler's been like, hey, when are we going to get Shane back on? When are we going to get Shane back on?
When you fucking tell him to come back on,
yeah,
Tyler.
Honestly.
God. Not that hard.
So it's just, yeah, I can't wait to see what other worlds we can make collide.
Totally. And I can't wait to see the evolution of Podcastrophe beyond what I can offer, you know, and I feel like maybe as a podfather, I've not been the greatest fostering you guys because I didn't think I really needed to. You had an idea for this show, and I've not really had to give you much input or say, hey, this is what you should do, because every decision you've made, I think at least, has been the right decision.
Okay.
For this show.
In closing, because this is getting a little long, I want to actually be able to do the regular show.
Sup, Tyler, in the live feed. Hope you guys are doing fantabulastic.
So that what you just said was a perfect segue. Moving forward on my own feed, what kind of advice do you have for me and Tyler?
Oh, man. Okay, so I think there are a couple important factors to think about when, and it's not even, I guess it's difficult for me to think about giving you advice like that because it's not like you can't just call me and get the advice all the same, but I get the reasoning why we're doing
but
this.
But it's cool to record it.
Totally. So, at least in my opinion, there's a couple things you need to look at. I already know you have the drive, but I also know what episode 60 brings, and 70, and 80, and you're kind of lost in the deep end of the waters, and it starts to get murky, and you're kind of spinning your tires. I've been there. I did it. It's a thing you have to learn to transcend, no matter what. If you want to be a creator like that, and I'm certain that you and Tyler both do, it's maybe dedicating it even when you fucking hate it and you don't want to do it. It's still just like, God damn it, I'm not doing this for me anymore. And that's what I've learned with Journey into Comics. It's a very important, I guess, way to retrospectively look at the whole bigger picture is that with Journey into Comics, I want you to feel the reality of me, but I also know that I'm not doing it for me anymore. I'm not sitting down, even if it's cathartic to talk about the shit that I'm talking about. I'm not doing that podcast for Nate Phillips and Journey into Comics.
Yeah.
I'm doing that podcast because Blaine or AP or anybody out in the world, whoever listens to our show, wherever they are, is getting something from it. That's why they're coming there. And if I, for 1 second, and this is the advice part of this, if I, for 1 second, let them down, I'm actually just letting myself down because their expectations mean more to me than my self-expectation, I guess. You know, and it's not anything you have publicly said to me or anybody has said to me like, oh, God damn it, you better do a JIC episode this week, motherfucker. But at the same time, it's notable to recognize when it's hard to do it and what you're doing it for. And if you can keep your level-headedness of like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? I think you guys can accomplish anything.
Yeah. Luckily, like, I think a long time ago it stopped being about me, doing it for me.
Good.
Like, because the show itself, it's all in the moment. We're not really delivering news. We're not really, it's all in the moment. It's all in the conversation. So, like, all it boils down to is, like, I don't care if people are out there listening. I just want the conversations to happen. And they're there if anybody wants to listen to them, if anybody wants to watch them.
The conversation that's happening in the room for Podcastrophe is, in some way, therapeutic for the people that are in the room because you guys are connecting on a level.
Exactly.
that
People don't do that anymore.
Correct. You're
That's why I do
connecting on a level that is honest too, because podcasting I think breaks down a barrier where here's the deal: if I say a fucking bull-faced lie, it's out there for the whole world to hear, and they can go, "Hey, you're a fucking liar. I don't like it.
You said this.
You said this. Why you said this?"
Yeah, like the thing is, conversing is a lost art. What it's all boiled down to these days is, and I don't want this to break into a whole conversation because I got to keep going.
I feel you.
But what it boils down to is like all communication is these days is text messages. All it is Facebook comments, Facebook messages, and there's such a breakdown of communication and like there's no emotion to it anymore. It's just text.
And then you're left to guess what that person's feeling actually.
Yeah.
Which can a lot of times create way more confusion. We're not here for that. I do have one last piece of advice.
Go for it.
And this is something I think that's very important to mention. But you guys moving forward also have to believe wholeheartedly that whatever you want to do with that feed, however it is, if you... Hey man, you call me up, it's 2 a.m, I got this fucking crazy idea for an audio drama, I've already got like script written and blah blah blah, we're gonna be rolling it out, it doesn't have to be whatever. Yes, please do it.
Yeah.
For you. It's not, at that point then, even still, the network is not about me. This goes back to the whole bigger picture that I'm always preaching is the network was not created because Nate needed a network of people to talk to and run and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw all my friends, much like you, who need an outlet to let their voices out and their hearts be expressed how they truly need to be. And it fills me with pride and joy when any episode comes out that I wasn't a part of. I mean, it makes me just very, 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 very proud, like a dad kind of, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, because it's like, you just did episode 50. I remember my episode 50. I'm now at episode 200. I think about where you guys will be at 200, and that's a dedication thing that I didn't tell you to have. That's passion. And I don't think there's much advice I can give you other than to just be passionate throughout. That's all I've got.
Yeah. Like it's just... The passion's definitely there. The thing is, it's overwhelming thinking about what do I need to do? What can I? And it's overwhelming in a good way. What can I do to improve? Oh wow, that's the train of existence.
Train of our existence and a motorcycle.
And a motorcycle. Who knows if it'll be heard? I'm sure it'll be heard on the video.
Yeah, for sure. That high quality recording.
But yeah, it's overwhelming. Wondering what can I do to make this better. What can I do to improve the quality of this? What can I do to wow people? And I'm always looking towards like my inspirations, like Kind of Funny or Rooster Teeth. Like what do? They have whole production crews, and that's something I would eventually like to move to. But it's just a matter of finding people, because we don't make money off this. Finding people who want to do it too
for the passion first.
For the passion, And obviously, if I were to get a crew, they would all be part of the show. Like they could guest on the show, and somebody. If I have a crew, I want everybody to be interchangeable and do the other person's thing.
Symbiotic.
Yeah.
So everybody's getting a taste for it.
So that's just like a little taste of what I want to do eventually.
Yeah.
If that were to ever happen.
And man, with Podcastrophe, I just feel like you guys have an opportunity to keep doing what you're doing, but keep getting, as you said, quote unquote, better at it. But it comes down to one small thing. There's only one other thing you can do to make your show better. Turn your volumes up in post so the Podfather can hear them. Because sometimes they're not that loud. Sometimes, it's actually because I'm really deaf, so it's more on me than
it's
you.
On you
but sometimes I do, like, man, I need to, turn this up all the way to 100.
Well, I immediately, as soon as it's done rendering, I listen to it in iTunes, like on my computer.
Oh, sweet.
So I skim through it. So I check levels through that.
Bitch.
I monitor that way.
I actually never knew this process, folks. I'm learning something new right now.
I just listen to it just to make sure there's no bullshit. For the most part.
Well, your show has lots of bullshit.
Oh, so much bullshit. But that's it. That's all I got to say today. I'm really glad I had this opportunity to come to Chicago last night and then crash here, because it gave me this opportunity to have this conversation with you.
Fucking A, man.
Not to mention the 5-6 hour conversation we had last night.
Totally.
Which was
So,
awesome.
Man, that should have been its own
That- it
podcast
should
in
have been,
itself,
but-
we were just catching up. It was
Yeah.
much needed. I need to just return the favor, thank you, because the network isn't what we are now without Podcastrophe being a literal, genuine cornerstone of what we created. I mean, you are like the firstborn. That's not of my own creation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird to say that, but like I truthfully mean that. You and AP will always have that very special spot in my heart in podcasting, because when we started this, you guys believed in my stupid idea, and vice versa, and I believed in your guys' awesome concepts, the poor rapport, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, an actual news show, let's do it. Like, let's bring some political shit to the fold. No one having the balls to actually talk about that on their podcast. And then your concept of just like raw, open topic, whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, that gives you an opportunity to have no set anything. You're malleable throughout, and that's something I kind of wish JIC had, but it's a Journey into Comics show, so I let it do its thing.
Nerd culture, I get it.
And that's why I've created like 17 other podcasts for myself to be a part of. So really, it's only like 4, but no, man, seriously, you, and then of course Tyler joining you has again, everything that you've done has been the right choice. Every step has been the right choice. You add Tyler, the live streaming, planning to have like, you don't just live stream and go, okay, well, we live streamed. You like share it all the fuck over and get exposure like crazy. And it makes me sad when I miss it on a Monday, because it's not on the day it typically
We
records.
labored so hard that day.
Oh man. What was that title? Butt
rocked and laboring hard.
Butt rocked.
Because we went and saw Five Finger Death Punch and Breaking Benjamin. People claim that they are quote unquote butt rock.
Oh, weird.
It's
I
whatever.
like Breaking Benjamin. That's a whole like 7 other podcasts that we could cover. Breaking
Maybe
Benjamin.
we will.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, thank you again for joining me on this,
No,
or me joining you technically.
Well, I guess.
So
I mean,
I can't wait for this to go live. And everybody
don't lose the
gets-
footage.
No.
Every time I've been filmed in the past, the footage typically gets lost or something. I don't know if that's like a running gag that the universe has with me, so I'm just like always fearful when anybody records my face. I'm just like,
It's funny. I almost should have just live streamed this.
that would have been cool.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
It technically is.
All
right. Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Dick. See you. Well, I'll see you every Thursday on podcastrophe.podbean.com.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That was a cheap pop, by the way.
It's something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere along those lines of that URL. I don't know.
So you're
I
going
need
to
to
send
look
it
at
back to your main feed dudes now?
Yep. Gonna send it back to the actual live feed. What's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody. We're back.
We're back.
We hope you all enjoyed that. If you can't tell, my hair's a little messier. Tyler's a little more comfortable. We did some things.
He drew me like a French girl.
And,
I also got a really killer calf cramp.
oh man,
I almost
it was
died.
bad. So we're going to go ahead and start recording again. And
Here we go.
perfect. That was like the weirdest, like, going from
Hey!
because we're
Hey!
like, hey. So what happened was, audio listeners, we started recording, and it starts ahead a little bit before it actually records. So the last thing I said before the clip from the video played was, "Here we go," and then it starts recording. I'm like, wow, that's actually perfect.
Yes.
So now that we're back in real time and not 2 weeks ago, what'd you think of all the things we had to say, Tyler? I said some nice things about you.
You guys both said some nice things about lots of things. And it made me feel good.
I'm glad.
Because I think back to the day that Mr. Brandon Stones started explaining to me the podcast network that everyone had. And I was like, cool, yeah, man, I'll listen to your amateur podcast for sure when I have time, you know. I wasn't being a dick about it or anything, but, you know, busy guy, at that time, I really only listened to Rogan's podcast, so I didn't really have time to do anything. And then one day he's just like, you should be a guest on our show sometime. And then, like, shortly after that, you're like, I need to get this guy on my show. But you didn't say it directly to me. You said it to everybody else but me. And I just kind of waited it out. I knew you were going to ask me to be on your show, and I was fucking excited because I like to talk.
Yeah.
And we were becoming friends at the time, so
Definitely.
it was the perfect time for me to guest and experience what podcasting is, other than just listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's been a fun ride, you know, having you join and then having all these different people interact with you, and you bringing people to interact with me. Really, you've only brought Travis and Clint.
And Clint. Well,
Which we need to get Clint back on here,
Right.
for sure. We need to get Travis back on here.
I've got a big long list of guests, but right now, all of my guests are hung up in scheduling conflicts.
Really?
Like every time I say, hey, you know, do you want to be on the show this week? Well, man, if your guys' show was still on Wednesday, it'd be perfect. But because of all the other, you know, I've got class and stuff now, so we
You know
can't.
who else says that? Dave Linder.
Yeah?
He's like, I work on Tuesdays. I'm like, man, I want Dave back on.
No, I do
bad.
too, for sure. You know, maybe now that we're on our own feet, I mean, you might be able to get Dave on for a special episode, like on a Monday or a Wednesday or something. But
Yeah, I mean, you and I discussed a little behind the scenes. We discussed whether we wanted to just make every episode a main episode and numbered, or if we want to just make every Tuesday the main episode and everything else extra.
I don't know if this is what I initially said, but I think that anything that happens on Tuesday should be a part of the main episode,
that's
and that
what you
should be
said.
numbered.
That is,
And then
that's what you said.
anything else that happens throughout the week or the month, you know, that those 4 episodes, because, you know, 4 episodes a month, anything else that happens before or after those 4 episodes, we should just title.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all basically one-off things. I mean, it could even be a series of shit.
Yeah,
And then
that's what I was thinking about doing, is making a series like a chat with Dick or some, just obviously that wouldn't be it, but like something along those lines.
Well, we've talked about doing,
like Podcastrophe Presents.
right. We've talked about doing more of the kind of FDR fireside chat type stuff, you know. So we're not really sure where we're going to end up, especially 6 months from now. You know, this is day 1 of officially our new feed. Like
And
official.
Where we're going to start really driving it home that, hey, you need to fucking subscribe to
us.
To us. I about said Journey into Comics.
And Journey into Comics too.
And Journey, of
because
course,
they deserve it, but like if you like our show and you like our live stream, like we need to pump our numbers up.
Those rookie numbers.
Rookie numbers, we need to pump them the fuck up.
We have been getting some like organic downloads on the Podcastrophe Podbean. Like, I think there's a couple episodes that have like 10 downloads.
Cool.
Which is I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but across 54, 55 episodes, that's awesome. I mean, having just put it on there, and only 4 or 5 followers, 3 of which are game addicts and Journey into Comics and me. So it's like, I think that's really awesome. You know?
Yeah, I haven't subscribed yet, just because I don't have time.
Alex has, our guest from last week.
Cool.
Yeah.
She left us a very nice Facebook review.
She did.
Which we appreciate.
Yeah, if you listen, if you watch, head on over to our Facebook and, you know, review us. Give us some stars. Give us some 5 stars. Give us a 1 star. I mean, even if you like it, just give us a 1 star.
Well, don't do that. I mean, if you want us to be, if you legitimately have something that you think could be better about the show, or something that we do that takes away some value from the show, throw a 1-star up there and let us, we want feedback. We need that constructive feedback. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to spin our wheels in the same place and just talk about butt stuff every week for the next 6 years.
Glory holes for life.
Glory holes and butt stuff.
Forever.
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 I hate you.
I know.
Did you just fucking Han
I
Solo
just Han
me?
Solo'd. I just anti-soloed you.
God damn it, boy. So I don't want to get super mushy. You and Nate just got super mushy,
Yeah, we did.
and I got wet. So what's our next topic? We've got a couple things.
I got a couple things lined up.
Well, I think before we do this, we've got a quick one that we can just kind of knock out.
Topic?
The Predator.
Yeah.
Okay, you saw The Predator. I have not.
Yeah, I did.
I have not seen The Predator yet, but I know everything about it. I know what happens in each scene throughout the movie. I haven't even seen it, and I'm fucking disappointed.
Yeah.
And I stood up for this film.
Yeah,
I
you
fucking
did.
stood up for it.
This film. I said some things about the trailers, and I continuously, every trailer that we saw, that you showed me, that I saw, I just continuously stood by my stance of this movie doesn't look that great. This movie does not look that great, and I always said I'm still gonna go see it because 1, it's Predator.
Right.
2, trailers can be deceiving. Maybe they're trying to portray something differently in the trailer than what the movie actually is.
A little fucking misdirection.
Yeah. So I went and saw it. And this movie was exactly like the trailers. It was just gung-ho fucking, there's this fucking alien and we're gonna go kill it. Yeehaw. That's what this
And
movie...
an autistic boy.
And an
Don't forget
autistic boy. An autistic boy, yeah.
So before you continue, did you know that the original draft of the script was the hero saved the day, and then Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger from the original movie, shows up in a fucking helicopter and says, "Get in."
Oh, man.
And then they fly off into the sunset.
Without getting into spoiler territory, there was like 3 moments where they literally like threw back to the original movie. Like they're like I think there was a point where they see a bunch of motorcycles and said get to that chopper, get in the choppers. It was so bad. And then there was Olivia Munn. There's a scene where she's in the lab and the Predator is like it's all sedated and strapped down to a fucking table, and she walks up, she goes, "You are one beautiful motherfucker." And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This movie was fucking cheesy in not good ways.
It was awful.
It really was.
It was awful. Just say it.
It was
Dwayne.
awful.
It was awful.
It was, in terms of a Predator movie, it was awful. Miranda loved it.
Was it worse than AVP?
I liked AVP. I still stand by. I liked AVP.
AVP was pretty shitty, but
it is. It's a shitty movie, but I still enjoyed it.
The scenes with the Predator were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that alien queen fight at the end was really
cool.
Is it shittier than Requiem? You cannot stand by Requiem. You cannot!
I would say it's on par with Requiem.
Oh, God.
It's bad. Like, I enjoyed this movie more than Requiem.
Okay.
In terms of, I enjoyed the characters more, which is not saying much because these... man, every single character in this movie was comic relief.
Even the autistic kid?
Even the autistic kid. Even the serious characters, quote unquote, were comic relief. And I did not like that. Every single character in this movie was cracking jokes left and right. Like, everything was like a fucking joke. Like a one-line zinger. Just left and fucking right. And, you know, the action sequences were cool. The CGI was pretty terrible, as I said in from the trailer of the ginormous fucking Predator in the trailer.
Well, was just that CGI bad, or was... Because some of the the regular Predator scenes were CGI too, right?
Yeah, those were okay. Those weren't bad. But
I figured it was just the big one.
The big motherfucker.
It's so disproportionate.
So there were some things about the big boy that I did not like. Like, he has all of his technology built into his own body, and it's you don't see it. It's just there. Like his cannons pop right out of his shoulder. His invisibility. It's his infrared. It's all part of him. And they don't even explain that really.
Mm.
They don't even explain it. You just have to draw that conclusion because you see it happen, and he's clearly he's clearly been enhanced, they bring that in and they say, oh yeah, they're trying to hybridize. There's human DNA that they're bringing in. They're trying to collect our spinal fluid essentially, and of the best, the bravest warriors, the most skilled people, the smartest people, and they're trying to put that into their own genome and make themselves better.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't think we need to say much more than that. I'll definitely watch it when it comes out on Blu-ray, or I'll pirate it. But I'm really disappointed, and I'm more so disappointed that Shane Black has allowed the film to become this, because he was in the original Predator movie. He has directed good films, or been a part of good films. Not Iron Man 3. Don't even fucking pretend that I said that, people listening to this podcast. But I'm just disappointed. I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah, you didn't even see it.
And I haven't even seen it, and I'm pissed. And you know what? I'm more pissed about. I brought the Olivia Munn thing up last week. Whatever. I'm just pissed that Olivia Munn is in another movie. A shitty fucking internet superstar that's not a good actress.
She's not, and
does not deserve any publicity.
Once again, it's very apparent in this movie she's not a good actress.
She's just not. I'm sorry.
This movie was
a disappointment. Take away all of the drama and controversy going on between Olivia Munn and the cast and Shane Black and all that. Take all of that away. Before any of this happened, my opinion was Olivia Munn is a shitty fucking actress. And that has not changed.
So, we have all these motherfuckers going around saying, oh, Prometheus sucked. Oh, Alien Covenant sucked. When we have this piece of shit.
Yes. But I think...
Those have good stories.
Decent.
Good.
Prometheus had a decent story. Covenant had a good story.
Riveting stories.
Yes, thank you.
They make you think. They make you wonder where it's gonna go. They keep you drawn in and keep you wanting to know what is next. This movie, I don't fucking care.
Yep.
Like this, it was entertaining. I'll say that. That's a positive. It was entertaining. The regular Predator was cool. Even he was comic relief.
Oh.
Even he was comic relief. Spoiler alert. So at one point he hops in the back of a truck, a military truck, kills all the people in the back, and the driver doesn't even realize it. But he's like, "Hey, what's going? Is everything all right back there?" He chops off the arm of one of them, sticks the thumb up, and sticks it through the window. Fuck you.
So
Predator is not comic relief.
So a little bit more spoiler territory before we move on from the new Predator film. Does the initial rumors that were circulated that the small Predator is fighting on the sides of the human beings?
Yes, kind of.
Okay, so it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Somewhat,
okay.
Yeah. The regular Predator.
We'll call him the normie.
The normie, he is actually on the run.
From Big Boy.
From his actual race, essentially.
Oh, this is an outcast.
Because he doesn't agree with what they're doing.
Oh, so he's an outcast.
And he goes to Earth to give them something.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Because
there's a war coming.
There's a war coming. It's almost in line with Prometheus, where they were going to go back to Earth to just eliminate him.
Think about how bad the sequel to this film is going to be, because they're going to make one.
They left it open, yeah. What the Predator gave him, the normie gave them, which is cool. It was actually really cool what he gave him, but I don't want to see another fucking one of these.
You know what we should have
sorry to interrupt.
No, you're right.
I hate the main actor. I can't stand that guy.
He's okay.
What's it, Hayden Boyd?
I think that's his name. He's a better actor than Olivia Munn.
Yeah, and he wasn't terrible in this movie. I
Ooh,
hated
I
him
had
in
a
Logan.
bad calf cramp again.
Oh no.
I headed that one off.
I
but-
hated him in Logan.
Oh yeah.
I could not stand him in Logan.
But his character was written that way.
Yeah.
It was supposed to make you hate him.
I hate his accent.
You know what we should have? Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. You know what we should have got instead of this film? A sequel to Predators
Yeah, Adrian Brody.
with Adrian Brody.
Absolutely.
We should have got that.
Absolutely.
Because that film took the franchise in a slightly different direction, but it still kind of fit into the mythos.
Mhm.
So why didn't we just keep going with that? Because that film actually had a decent review. Just overall review was decent.
That movie overall was good.
Yes. Well, we both
Yeah.
really enjoy that movie. Critics hammered it at times. I thought the cast was really good and the story wasn't bad. It was a really cool premise.
Don't get me wrong, I had my qualms with it, but overall I liked it.
Yeah, I
a
mean
lot.
it was a good movie. So
Adrian
that's
Brody-
where you should have picked up.
Adrian Brody was just too badass. The whole movie.
It's not as bad as Christian Bale, Batman voice. So
It took me a while to get used to Adrian Brody, his character, and how overly badass he was. I guess
I can't remember his character's name.
I don't either. I don't remember it either. But so moving on.
Yeah, let's move on from the Predator before I
Yeah.
have a fucking aneurysm.
There's this video that's been circulating.
Oh yeah, I shared it. I shared this fucking vid.
I wish I could find the original, but this is just the one I saved, and it's nuts. Just watch.
Please, some guy in a car, and now he's videotaping me.
Because this is
Because
unlawful.
he's hitting me. Ma'am, he's running me over.
No, I'm not.
Ma'am, hurry, please hurry. Mike! 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 Yes, please! Hurry, ma'am! Ma'am, I don't know, and he's a lunatic and he's videotaping me! Ma'am, please hurry! Mike! You're in trouble.
How
You're
so?
going to jail.
How so?
You're hurting me!
How?
You just ran over! Ma'am, please hurry! He just ran off and he's still moving! Please, ma'am! Please hurry!
Oh my god.
So you know what's really fucked up? You know what the whole premise of that video is? This guy made a wrong turn, and he pulled up to that guard shack, and he was just gonna turn around, and this woman was like a guard shack attendant, and just had a fucking aneurysm. Just went nuts.
Went full meltdown.
Just full meltdown, because this guy was just trying to turn around. You know, he didn't fucking blow through the little guard shack upright. He just pulled up, he was gonna back up. You know, this is like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
He's fucking pulled up, was gonna back up, turn around, and then drive away. Help! Ma'am! He's running me over!
he's just sitting there. Yeah, Cameron's been quoting this thing like since Saturday. And you know, he does his I have a migraine voice with it. So he's just yelling, and his voice just carries and pierces all ears.
It's that accent.
And it completely drowns any sound that you could be already listening to.
Oh yeah.
And he's just yelling Mike over and over again. And Mike, and of course Mike Norris, Game Addicts Podcast, he's just like, what the fuck is he yelling for? He was so confused.
So does Mike actually know why he's yelling now?
Yeah, I explained it to him.
You educated him?
Yeah, and I showed a couple people the video, and oh boy. So yeah.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. So now that we got that out of the way, we have another thing that just dropped today. And we have the exclusive first talking about it on the network. So here we go. This is Captain Marvel trailer, and that's not it. I love the Blockbuster video. Fucking 90s.
War is a universal language. I know a renegade soldier when I see one. Never occurred to me that one might come from above. Space invasion, big car chase. Truth be told, I was ready to hang it up till I met you today. So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
I'm not what you think I am.
Pow.
So I'm just going to make this known before we dissect any part of this. Number one, this is a film that Blaine and I will be seeing opening night.
Yes.
In March of 2019 in fucking IMAX. This is a movie that's IMAX worthy.
Yeah, definitely.
Number two, this is the only Marvel movie in the last 2 years that when I watched a trailer, the hair stood up on my arms.
Yeah?
This is the only one.
Really?
Only one.
I've gotten that a lot.
This is the most well done and most interesting trailer.
That doesn't really tell you much at
That
all.
doesn't tell. Well, it actually tells you a lot.
It does without.
So we get to
Without
see
telling
the
plot.
scroll.
Yeah.
You know, on the beach. We get to see her punch that old lady, which
It's
you
gonna
can
be a scroll.
which you can just
I
tie
hope.
two and two together as a scroll.
I hope it's a scroll.
I hope it's not, because then she just punched an old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we get to see young Nick Fury, which looks good. We got to see Jude Law's character. We get to see Ronan.
Yeah, we get a brief glimpse of Ronan.
And, I mean, Jude Law and Ronan are both brief glimpses.
Marvel.
I would assume Jude Law is Marvel.
He is Marvel.
Yeah. So, I am. I said after Infinity, because I had very low. I still have a very low opinion of Black Panther. But we saw Infinity War, and I said, "Yep, nothing will top this." And then we saw Deadpool, and Deadpool was a better film in my opinion. I still stand by that. And then after that, I said the most excited I was, or the movie that I was most excited for was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was going to be killer. It ended up not being as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's on par with the first movie.
It was a cool character piece.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that 5 times. I mean, yeah. But now it's like, what do we have until March of 2019? As far as movies go.
Well, we have the DC universe.
I think the Aquaman film's going to be good.
I think it is too.
You and I are super pumped for Venom.
Oh, yeah, we are.
I have really high expectations for that now. Especially after this last batch of trailers that we got.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, yeah, you have.
I just saw the last the last trailer I saw was the one where they showed Riot.
Oh no, there's been another one since then.
It's the one where you got a better look at the Venom suit, and like, you know, he's talking about the guy being a turd in the wind.
Yeah, we got another one after that.
I haven't seen anything past that.
But after that, there wasn't really a whole lot that I was like, man, I gotta go see that.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go see it.
I'm loving all these movies coming out, and you know, because there's like Captain Marvel. I don't know shit about Captain Marvel.
You're gonna learn everything that you need to know in this film.
Exactly.
This is, from just watching the trailer, this is the one time and one time only that Marvel and Disney is gonna get an origin story right.
See, from what I understand, they're not doing much of an origin story.
But they are.
It's just she's already gonna be Captain Marvel,
right?
And
that's how you do an origin story.
Yeah.
You have the character. I don't fucking care how the character became the character. Give me 15 scenes that are maybe 5 minutes long. Broke up. Flashback. Boom. Okay? This is how she got the power. Flashback. Boom. Yeah. This is how she met so-and-so. Flashback. 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 Origin story done. Fantastic film done. Mm-hmm. We don't need any more than that.
And you know, and the way they do that, there's several TV shows that do that, and it makes you keep wanting, like, it splits your attention in a way that it makes you like, oh man, I wonder what's gonna happen next, but there's this flashback going on, which you want to know what happens next in the flashback once that goes back, and it's just like, it's just this constant like yearning, but your yearning keeps switching.
Yep.
It's a really cool feeling. I can't wait for Venom, because as much as I hate to admit this, I don't know a whole lot about Venom.
What?
In terms of like the actual mythos of Venom and all that, like I watched the cartoon, the Spider-Man animated series as a kid. I saw Venom on.
There's a couple different variations of Venom.
Yeah. I saw Topher Grace.
You know, there's the whole. I mean, there's the.
Hate to admit that that's a thing.
There's the whole. You know, the symbiotes come from their own planet, and that's Battle Planet, and it's Symbiote Planet, and you know, there's a whole fucking like civilization of nothing but symbiotes, and then there's the Spider-Man animated series where they just, you know, fell from a fucking planet in the sky and ended up on Earth.
Yeah.
Or what was J. Jonah Jameson's son's name? Because he's the one that initially
brought it back.
He brought it back.
I think the most recent one is Noel. You know about Noel, the god of the symbiotes?
Oh yeah. There's a shit ton of different variations,
yeah.
and then what's cool about the symbiotes is they've kind of transcended characters. Like at one point, all of the children of Venom joined together with Deadpool and made a fucking uber symbiote. There's been, you know, symbiotes have been in Thor comics. There's just there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of room to run with the symbiotes. You can do about anything that you want. I'm glad that we're not getting Carnage straight out of the gate, because I think that it would have ended up being just like Venom and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It would have
been no there's no build up.
No. It's just, hey, I'm Venom. Cool.
There's no build up okay, so the way I thought Spider-Man 3 was going to be, I thought it was going to be, so Spider-Man 3, he gets, this is Topher Grace, by the way, he gets the Venom suit. He gets the black suit. He goes through all of his baddies for that movie, and then at the end of the movie, at some point, towards the end of the movie, he gets rid of the black suit. Obviously, he goes to Eddie Brock. And then he makes his transition off-screen or on-screen, whichever. It'd probably be better off-screen, since leading into what I'm going to say.
Right. Spider-Man
beats the baddies, which would be Sandman and Hobgoblin, Green Goblin.
Hobgoblin.
It would have been Hobgoblin, but they never gave it a name. It was just Harry. It was Harry. Yeah, it was Harry Goblin. So off-screen, Topher Grace makes his transition into Venom, and then you get like a little fucking Marvel Easter egg at the end where it just leads into another movie. There should have been a Spider-Man 4, and that should have been Venom's movie.
With Carnage.
I don't know.
That would have been the perfect time to bring him in. Just a little snippet of the symbiote breaks off of Topher Grace while him and Spidey are fighting, and it just happens to crawl into the armored police car where fucking Cletus Cassidy is.
Yeah.
And
Either
then we
way.
have Carnage. It would have
Either
been
way.
that easy.
Venom should have got his own movie in that universe, in the
Yes.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe, and that didn't happen. And instead, we got the bullshit. Like, I think I would have liked that more, even if it was still Topher Grace and that bullshit version of Venom, if we got a whole movie of it, rather than just a scene.
Yeah.
Because then at least we could grow accustomed to it and, maybe enjoy it. That's a big maybe, but...
I don't know that I could have enjoyed it, because Topher Grace is not Eddie Brock.
No, he's not. He's... I did not like him in Predators either. Predators. I liked him until he became, super serious psycho killer.
I actually like that character development. That's one of the only main, big screen roles that I've enjoyed him in.
Yeah. Not When a Day with Tad Hamilton.
I haven't seen that, so no.
It's actually a pretty funny movie.
You can fuck off. But back to Captain Marvel, before we get too deep into Venom. Oh god, calf cramp. I am, I can't say enough how excited I am to see Captain Marvel.
Same.
Hopefully the end result is a little bit beefier than what the return on my investment for Ant-Man was.
Yeah.
Ant-Man definitely wasn't a bad film. I'm not saying that by any means, but we called... You and I already called 90% of Infinity War. I mean, we called it almost scene for scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you and I, amongst a group of other people, started dissecting what we thought Ant-Man was going to be, and how that was going to tie into Infinity War and blah, 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 blah. And we literally called that movie scene for scene. Start to finish. You and I called out everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really need to see the movie because I already knew what fucking happened.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think this is going to be good. I think this is, Brie Larson's her name, right?
Yeah.
I think this is her time to shine. I think this movie will be good enough to justify her coming in and fucking saving the day in Infinity War Part 2.
Very excited to see where this leads in terms of Infinity War. I guess the plot of Infinity War 4 or Avengers 4 leaked, and I guess it supposedly takes place 5 years after the snap.
Well, so the plot of Infinity War is not concrete.
Yeah.
They're doing reshoots right now and actually writing out the plot of that film as they reshoot.
But they already shot the movie.
They shot a version of the film.
Mm.
So, over the last week and a half...
this is new development, okay.
Yeah, over the last week and a half, what they've actually been doing is they've been going through with each actor and group of actors and reshooting a good portion of the film. This isn't Solo where they're doing 85% plus. But they are reshooting apparently a lot of key scenes, and they are rewriting the plot of the film. Because when production for, I'm just going to call it Infinity War Part 2, started, they did not have a concrete script. They did not know how the film was going to end. They didn't know anything in the middle. They only knew how the film was going to start. And I'm reading rumors the last couple days that even how the film was going to start was not concrete, and they may or may not have changed that also. So, oops.
That kind of bums me out.
I don't know. A lot of the actors that are in the film, like, what's Bruce Banner's character's name?
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo, thank you. I almost said Lou Ferrigno. But, I mean, I wouldn't have been wrong, but...
Not entirely, no.
Right. Mark Ruffalo, I read an article with a statement from him the other day, and he said that himself, among other members of the cast, are very excited, very enthusiastic about the reshoots that they're doing. So I don't think this is damage control by any means. I think this is entirely the way that they intended to do it. Like,
yeah.
Here, let's do 30% of the movie and see how this shakes out, and then, if we want to change some stuff, we'll change it. If not, we'll just leave what we've shot in there and just do a really good job editing it. they have the best editors in the world when it comes to film, so they're not going to struggle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited.
Korg was on set.
Yeah, that was one of the...
That's exciting.
so I think that is part of the reshoots, because, you know, one of the biggest questions that you and I had for either viewing of Infinity War was, okay, the film starts, Thanos' thing is he will only wipe out half of any civilization. Even if they resist, he will not kill them all. So we see a lot of dead Asgardians on the ship, but we don't see Korg, you know, we don't see Valkyrie, and there's a character, or there's an actress that's laying on the ground dead right when the film starts that looks identical to Valkyrie, and I said, well, fuck, there's Valkyrie, she's dead. But I read a thing 3 months ago or so that said, no, Valkyrie and Korg and half of the remaining Asgardians escaped. Not escaped, Thanos made them leave. So they took some escape pod type shit and fucking scurried on to skedaddled to continue the Asgardian race. So it'll be interesting to see, and I think that's part of the reshoots, especially now that Nate reminded me that Korg is on set. I think they are going to flesh at least the first part of what goes on with Korg and Valkyrie and the rest of the Asgardians, and then they will come in later into the film. That's what I've been reading anyway. We get to see what actually fucking happened, you know, when Thanos starts Rick-rolling people, and then later on the film, Valkyrie and Korg come back to help save the day. Because Korg was too popular of a character to not include in this, and Valkyrie too, for that matter. They were, from what I read, like maybe 5 months after Ragnarok came out, the director did not, or just the total production crew did not expect Korg and Valkyrie to have as much.
I didn't like
as
Valkyrie
much positive fan reception as they did.
I didn't like Valkyrie that much. I love Korg.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Fucking love Korg. So I have like 2 questions in terms of theory. One of which I was listening to Game Over Greggy, and they were talking about this, and it just ended up being a joke, which it cracks me up, and I want to quote it. But first off, so Thanos' thing is he leaves half. So when he did the snap, did the halves that he already left get cut further in half?
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Because his thing was, I will only take half. When he snaps, he only takes half of all life in existence.
At random.
At random. So you would say maybe one civilization that he halved, like only 3 fucking people of that whole civilization die. But then the majority of another civilization that he never touched, they're all dead. Because it's completely at random, and it's only half of all the life in existence. So that means all the fucking birds, fucking cows, you're fucked, because there's a lot of you.
Get the fuck out of my life, cow!
Get the fuck out of my life, cow! So, I don't know, I like that theory, and, you know, that theory kind of got popular when we started to figure out that, oh, the Asgardians actually did escape.
Mm-hmm. So now only half of them are...
So now only a quarter of their fucking civilization is left.
If that, yeah.
If that. I don't think that it's that way. Because
I think it's a total random...
They say at random too many times in the film. Thanos does anyway. I don't get to choose. The stones basically choose. The gauntlet basically chooses.
Yeah.
Who lives and who dies.
There's this other theory. I posted it in our group chat the other day that Odin once controlled all.
Yeah, I didn't get to read that, so go through that.
It's a cool little video. It's just like so he originally had the Tesseract, and
he had a fake Infinity Gauntlet.
It may have been fake. The stones are fake, but I think the gauntlet's real. That's what the theory says, that he had all the Infinity Stones, and then
Well, remember though when Hela walks through the treasure room, she says
it's
it's
just
a fake.
possibly. But
Anyway, go on.
There's a chance that he had Sindri. No, what was Peter Dinklage's character's name?
Sindri.
Okay, that he had him make the gauntlet for him, and that's why he already had the mold for Thanos, basically. I don't know. It's like a 10-minute video.
I'll watch it when we
And,
leave, or when I leave.
Basically, he had the Tesseract. He had the ether. He hid the ether. Maybe he since the sorcerers on Earth, which is a realm protected by Asgard, they protected the Earth from other dimensions, other dimensional beings. They thought Odin thought that was a good spot to give the time stone in the form of the Eye of Agamotto. The Power Stone. He's gone across.
So the only outliers we have right now are the Power Stone and the Soul Stone.
Yeah, and they think one video. I saw 2 different videos with this theory, and one video said that he maybe went after the Time Stone and with Hela, and then Hela was all that was his main love, much like Gamora was to Thanos, and that he couldn't do it. So that
Hela wasn't his main love.
Well, not his main love, but the thing he loved most in life.
Well, that would have been his wife.
But that's his daughter.
Right, but he fucking.
So
he imprisoned his daughter.
Either way, we'll get into there.
Okay,
So this actually leads into that.
Okay.
So he couldn't sacrifice the thing he loved most to get what he wanted. So Hela saw that as weakness, and that's when
she rebelled against him.
Well, that's when he turned to, instead of conquest, to protection and ruling, and she saw that as weakness, and she rebelled, and she went against that.
So we're saying that he got 4 out of the 5 stones.
Yeah. There's another theory that he's the one that put the stone there, and because he's all about these trials and being sure you're worthy. So he's the one that put it there. And that and because he had the Tesseract, he hit that on Earth as well. When Red Skull got rejected by it and sent to that planet, Vormir, that was a spell by Odin. There's also in the theory video, the one that says that Odin put it there. You can kind of see the Bifrost a little bit when that little flare goes up after Gamora dies. It's all really weird and interesting, but if this theory is correct, maybe he has a connection to these stones. Maybe he has a connection to the Soul Stone, or just the stones in general, like I said, and that he is going to come back into play in the next Avengers.
I would like that.
He still has a way to connect with Thor. He can still communicate with Thor through his visions.
Loki.
And Loki. Loki's fucking dead.
Right.
Loki's fucking dead.
Fucking dead. I would like that. Because, we can just agree that if Hela was still alive on Asgard when,
Surtur.
No. If Hela was still alive on Asgard and Surtur wasn't a thing, let's just say Surtur was there too, and Thanos shows up to get that fucking Tesseract. Sorry about you, pals. Thanos is not beating Hela and Surtur together.
No.
Not doing it. Not beating Hela by himself. Because Hela is more powerful than Thor. And Thanos gave Thor all he wanted until he got Stormbreaker. So, if Hela is more powerful than Thor, and Thor is the only one that could challenge Infinity Gauntlet Thanos, then we'll just do a little bit of math here and say that Thanos with one Infinity Stone could not go toe-to-toe with Hela, especially if Surtur is involved also. So, that's my opinion. I'm definitely going to watch this theory video now because I like Anthony Hopkins as
Odin.
Yeah. I thought Odin always fit into the plot very well. And, I mean, if you do any research into Norse mythology, Odin has one eye because he knows everything.
Yeah.
He gave up an eye to know everything. So.
Yeah.
Odin knew this was coming. That's why he put Thor on the path that he did.
Yeah, it's a really cool video. I definitely recommend watching it. Like, I after watching that video, I started delving deep into the Thor.
Oh, you went fucking deep YouTube, didn't you?
Oh yeah, all my theory videos and just explanation videos. I went into one where it's in this new line of Thor comics where it's
Jane Foster as Thor?
No, it's the current one, which Thor has traveled into the future, and he is basically teamed up with old Thor himself, and that Thor
because the one right before that was where Jane Foster actually became Thor.
Yeah, I think that's I don't know much about that. I don't know much about like the female Avengers because there was like a female Iron Man, a female Thor, a female fucking Captain America. It was all weird.
Gender equality. Anyway, go on.
But I can't remember the exact plot of what's going on, but Thor is helping himself, and the future Thor has basically become Odin. He absorbed, when Odin dies, he absorbs the Odin force and it becomes the Thor force. It's cool. It's really fucking cool. I love it. I actually want to start reading these.
Cool.
So Nate, if you have those, shoot them over.
Just read some Norse mythology and you'll get all that.
But it's not Norse mythology. These are superhero stories versus the.
Read some of the Norse.
Are they
stories. Yeah. You fucking played God of War.
Yeah, none of that followed much of Thor.
All the stuff about Tyr didn't fucking get your dick hard.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah. That's not even scratching the surface on information about Tyr. And they changed 90% of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, read some stuff about Tyr. It'll get your fucking dick hard.
Yeah. I definitely want to start reading that shit. It's just a matter of getting time to do it.
Oh yeah.
So right now, like, I'm involved in this. I'm still doing my random band, which last week we had a hell of a practice.
Good for you.
We wrote a new song. I wrote a new song with them. I contributed. That's the most I've ever contributed musically.
You did it.
And you know what I did? I played the riff from our bumper, and we turned it into a whole song.
Nice.
And it's gonna be called Heritage. We have another song called Dragma.
Dragma?
Yep. Drag my balls across your face.
I figured that's where you were going.
Oh yeah, and that's the chorus. I was not gonna do that. I was just gonna leave the title Dragma and actually write something completely different. But the music just lends itself to those lyrics.
That's fair.
And another song is, it's as if Ricky Bobby was in Death Race.
God, that'd be such an awesome crossover.
Which is kind of the theme of the whole band in general, is like this Talladega Nights. It's this like really hardcore, like biker metal rock.
Okay.
Racing. Yeah. Ricky Bobby Death Race shit.
Okay. You do you, man.
I'm very excited. I mean, within 3 practices, we've already written 4 songs.
Cool.
And we still have until December. So, we're very, and on top of that, we have a Facebook page. I think we're the only band in this challenge that has a Facebook page.
All right.
Because I wanted.
Can I send dick pics to this Facebook page?
Maybe, if you want. I mean,
well, I just want to compete with the Sluts Facebook page.
Gotcha.
I don't know that I can, but
I don't think you can. Oops. You got anything else, man?
Yeah, I want to talk about Hereditary, you fuck.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Been waiting this whole fucking episode to talk about it. So I want to preface what we're about to say and dissect this film. Back in February, I think it was February, we watched the initial trailer for this movie.
On the show.
We reacted to it on the show. We both had kind of like a decent amount of interest in seeing this film. And then, I want to say April or May. Might have been May. April or May. We heard the reviews of the film, since it had been in theaters, were very poor. And we both said that we, kind of expected that. They're just trying to capitalize on the jump scare generation of horror films. And then I totally committed myself to never seeing this movie.
I didn't commit. I didn't outright commit to it, but I was just like, yeah, I don't care.
Well, when I say commit to not seeing it, I wasn't gonna actively hunt this movie down to watch it. If I came over here and you said, "Hey man, we're gonna hang out for a couple hours," cool. We're gonna watch Hereditary. All right, we'll watch Hereditary.
All right, we're doing this.
You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna go out of my way to see it. And you saw it Friday night. Texted me immediately and said, "Hey, watch fucking Hereditary so we can talk about it on the show on Tuesday."
Yeah, I did.
So I sent my wife down to the Red Box by the Dollar General to pick up Hereditary while I was at class last night. And I watched it last night, so all of this information is very fresh in my mind. And I fucking enjoyed it.
Oh.
I did. I thought it was very well done. It is a better version of Paranormal Activity. Think about the total plot of Paranormal Activity from 1 all the way up until the Dark Ones. Not the Ghost Dimension, because I still haven't seen that.
I stopped at 3. That's the last full one that I saw.
Okay, so the plot from 1 all the way up until 3 is a total arc, encompassing the same thing. That's basically what Hereditary is. It's all 3 Paranormal Activity movies into one.
Okay.
Would you disagree?
No, I can't disagree. I see what you're saying, for sure. However, I wanted you to watch it because I wanted someone else to suffer what I suffered.
I didn't suffer because I thought it was good.
Oh man, Miranda and I both watched it, and she really wanted. She didn't even expect me to watch it with her. She just got it because she was gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to spend time with her, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it with you. So, sat through this whole thing, and most of the movie we were just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? and the thing is, so there's enough going on at the beginning of the movie. We're still confused at the very beginning of the movie, but we're like, all right, it'll explain, it'll pick up, and then the drama happens of the movie, and then
man, that's a powerful whole sequence of events.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Skylar and I legitimately both got really sad.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't know how to feel with that in terms of my emotions. I wanted to keep just firm, okay, what's gonna happen next, but at the same time I'm like, man, what is going through his head, because he is not pulling over, or he just walked into his room and falls asleep, and it's just one, he's stoned as fuck, so that probably played into it. 2, he's just in shock, utter shock, and that's just how his mind is choosing to react. Not choosing, but just surviving. That's how his mind is surviving.
Yep.
In terms of his reaction, and I was like, all right, what's gonna happen next? And the movie proceeds to just be extremely slow, but there's enough every 10-15 minutes of slowness. Every 10 to 15 minutes, there's something happens, and you're just like, all right, what the fuck? And then it goes back to slow.
See, I had a different experience, because from the moment the movie started, we knew that it was a demon-y horror movie. When Skylar and I watch those movies, we are picking it apart constantly. What's going on in this scene? Pause. Do you fucking see that in the corner? Play. Start to finish. And the moment, from start, you're obviously confused at the beginning of the movie, but as shit progresses and you finish the film, if you pause it right before the movie ends, you can go all the way back to the beginning of the movie and point out, in detail, how every scene connected together. So in the very first scene, when they're in the funeral home, and Charlie walks up to her dead grandma, and she looks up, and that guy fucking does that weird fucking smile at her. You don't see that again until the very end of the movie. So, I mean, every scene fucking... I thought it flowed very well.
It's a movie that it's a chore to sit through. It was a chore for me to sit through. But I mean, when it all pays off, it does pay off.
Skylar and I enjoyed it a lot because as the movie progressed and we were picking it apart scene by scene, it was, oh my god, this is why this is happening. This is why so-and-so is involved. They go out of their way to point out all of the deaths in her family at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
Schizophrenia, like extreme schizophrenia. The mom had DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. So at the beginning of the film, they hang that little worm in front of your face, and it's like, you're gonna go through this whole fucking movie thinking all these people are just crazy.
Yeah.
And they all have fucking mental health problems. And then, boop, demons, So, I mean, I just thought it was really well done. The scenes with Charlie made my wife very uncomfortable, physically. Like, you look at Charlie's face.
Yeah, oh no, Miranda fucking hated it. She's like, I fucking hate her face.
Well, I mean, Skylar was like, what is wrong with her? I mean, is this prosthetic? Is this what this girl actually looks like? Mm-hmm. So Skylar, had empathy for this young actress, right out of the gate, because it's like, okay, what is wrong with her in real life?
Yeah.
And then all the shit's going on, and then, so I'm nerding out about this right now. So the grandma dies, the queen is dead. Now they need a new queen. Okay? So you go a little bit farther in the movie, and it's like, okay, both of the children were not known about until the second child. Okay? So the line stopped at the grandma because they didn't know that there was any children. If they would have just never told the grandma that there were any children, everyone would still be alive right now. Okay, let's go even farther than that. She finds the book later in the movie that's talking about whatever god that is, or demon, that covets the form of man. But the way that the little paragraph is written is the god is also a man and just wants another male body.
Yes.
When in reality, it's a female wanting a man's body, coveting the form of man. That's why at the end of the film, Charlie is the one in Peter. I think Peter is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is the one in Peter's body, and not this demon or god or whatever it is. So it goes.
Well, the demon was in Charlie, and it got the wrong host.
Yes.
So.
Yes, because at the beginning of the film, Charlie says, "Grandma wanted me to be a boy. Grandma wants me to be a boy." That's why. Grandma fucking did her voodoo ritual, put the god in the body of a girl. So that's why Peter's dead. If Charlie was a boy, it would have just stuck right there.
Yeah.
And then Peter would have lived. But it was just...
I mean, his body's alive.
Right. I mean...
That scene, oh my god, that scene where the mom's just
sawing her head off with
rope or string or whatever. And
it looked like piano wire to me.
Just mid-air, nothing holding her there. She's just... that was...
At first I thought she was stabbing herself.
No.
Because of the sound that it was making. I was like, okay, she's fucking up there jabbing herself with something.
No, that was...
Oh, that's piano wire. She's fucking sawing her head off.
Those scenes were really interestingly hard to watch. Interesting because I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Hard to watch because it's hard to watch.
Well, it's psychologically, it's such a fucked up thing. If you got piano wire out right now and tried to saw your head off, your brain would not let you do it.
Yeah. Well, The thing
You
is, this
cannot
movie went from so slow to like going 75 miles an hour.
You cannot self-terminate that way.
No.
You cannot saw your own head off. You can cut your hand off. You can saw your foot off. You cannot saw your own head off. Your brain will not let you do it. Unless there's something chemically in your brain fucked up. So, you know, Charlie's doing all this weird shit. Charlie dies. Everyone's dealing with the grief. And then later on in the movie, you look back to that whole sequence of events that Charlie died. Okay, Charlie was allergic to nuts. They point that out in the film like 5 times.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, at the funeral home, in the very beginning of the movie when she eats the chocolate bar, all 3, the brother, the mom, and the dad say, that doesn't have nuts in it, does it? And then as the mom's walking away, she says, we don't have the EpiPen.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's right at the beginning of the movie. And then, like, every time throughout the film after that, Charlie eats something chocolate, someone says something to her about, there better not be nuts in that.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
Weird.
That's these type of films, I'm serious. I
never saw that as an allergic reaction. I saw that as in, like, something was, like, spiritually it was going on wrong with her.
Yeah.
So I guess it was just
this whole movie was like fucking preordained for all of these events to happen in sequence.
Mm-hmm.
The mom made Charlie go to that party. Why did the mom make Charlie go to that party? Because she was stressed out from her mom dying. Her mom put all that stress on her. Charlie went to that party and just so happened to eat fucking chocolate cake with nuts in it. That's why at the beginning of the party, when Peter and Charlie walk in, you see that very fucking focused angle of that girl cutting up all those nuts on that chopping board. Or that cutting board. And then she eats the fucking chocolate cake, starts running around wheezing and shit. Oh, I better get you to the hospital. And then I was like, that whole next scene, it's like, Peter's doing the right thing, he's gonna get her to the hospital, everything's gonna be kosher. And then she fucking rolls the window down, and I went, I looked at Skylar and I went, no. And she fucking sticks her head out and bam!
Yeah.
Why was that deer in the middle of the road? That deer was in the middle of the road because all of those events had been fucking preordained. Had to have been.
Yeah.
It can't
Makes sense.
Can't just be happenstance.
Do I ever want to watch this movie again? No. But I am enjoying it more now that you're explaining this in this way.
Well, this movie.
I also didn't realize that her head got completely lopped off.
Oh, fucking off!
And like I just saw it hit. I didn't see it. But and then later on when I was like,
when you see that scene of her head on the side of the fucking
yeah,
road.
I was like, oh shit. She goes, yeah. Miranda goes, yeah. Obviously, I mean, he was going like what, fucking 80 miles an hour. Obviously, he's gonna get lopped off. I'm like, yeah, you can make a good point.
Well, especially because she stuck her head out the window. Her head
head
hits the telephone pole. Her fucking spinal column hits the back of the window.
There's just no way it wouldn't happen.
Little fucking decapitation action. Anyway, so then the mom goes through, or basically, you know, fucking Death's Anonymous, a support group, and just happens to run into this lady when she's leaving the support group. Which that lady was not at the support group the first time.
No.
We rewound it and went back and looked. She was not in that circle of people. Okay. They do such a good job of foreshadowing in this movie, but they do an even better job at subtle foreshadowing. Because in the first scene when she's in the support group, she never looks up from the ground. Mm-hmm. She never looks up at the people. She might look up a little bit, but she never makes eye contact with anyone else in the room. So she would not have remembered anybody else that was in that room. So lady runs up, hey, you know, here's my shoulder to lean on. Cool, we're best friends now, yada yada. She goes to her house. That's a really nice mat. My mom used to make mats like those. She used to crochet them. Oh, weird. That's too much coincidence. And then the moment that they did the seance thing for the first time.
See, I missed that scene, or at least the beginning of the scene, because I think I came down here to go to the bathroom or something.
The moment that scene happened, I started to put together all the little threads that I had segmented off from the beginning of the film, because at the beginning of the film with Charlie, you had that really weird scene where there was the woman in the white dress, lighting the field on fire. Remember that? And then you don't ever see anything about that ever again until the very end of the movie. And it's like, it's just fucking weird. And then, like 6 or 8 scenes after that, the family all gets home from whatever they're doing at nighttime, and the dad has one line in that scene. It's, what the hell's that smell? Then you don't figure out until the end of the movie what that fucking smell was.
I forgot about that.
So they were dealing with that smell because they were desensitized to it, or everything else was just going on and they weren't keying in on it. But he points that smell out like a quarter of the way through the movie. In the last 25 minutes, they figure out what the smell was.
Yeah.
Well, fucking Grandmammy's up in the fucking attic.
Yeah, not to mention, like, there's that phone call.
Okay, I was going to get to that next. So Skylar and I are going theory after theory after theory, trying to connect everything together. And then I went back to that phone call that he got at the beginning of the movie, and he did not tell his wife about it.
No, he did not.
Did not. And I said, oh, fuck, this guy's in on it. This guy has got to be in on it. Why would he not tell her about her grandma's grave being fucking desecrated? Well, he wasn't in on it. I was wrong. But it's just, I mean, foreshadowing. This movie fucking does it. So, they do the seance. I would imagine... Okay, so, we see the seance scene. Janie, the woman that is consoling her, she makes that statement that I lost my son and my grandson. Okay, they drowned. Why did they drown? This bitch fucking sacrificed her son and her grandson.
Did she?
Had to have. Why would they die? It's too much coincidence that they just died. This was all involved. She fucking sacrificed those bitches. So they do the seance. She fucking teaches the main character how to do it. And the moment she did that, the moment that scene ended, I said, you know what? She's gonna fuck up and invite the wrong thing into her house. And that's how this all makes sense. Well, they go to do the seance at home, and Skylar goes, oh fuck, the candle's not lit. So you know how there's a candle on the table?
Yeah.
That's the one thing she pointed out. Oh fuck, the candle's not lit. That must be what's keeping the demons away. That candle. And then as the scene goes to another frame, the candle's lit. She goes, that candle wasn't lit. Something else lit that candle. She was getting fucking amped up about it. That candle wasn't lit. You know, like, fuck. But it was just, it was good. If you would have picked the movie apart like I did, you would have enjoyed it more, I think.
Maybe.
You would have been able to see all the subtle stuff.
If it wasn't so slow, I probably could have.
Yeah, but...
I could not get past the slow.
Oh, man. That fucking scene when Peter contorts his body and starts slamming his head into the fucking desk. I thought he was dead right there. Like, this motherfucker's gonna beat his head to death.
Yes. I thought the same thing.
Did the sound fucking bother you?
It did.
God, that's such a creepy fucking sound. When you are not the one doing it, it's fucking creepy. When you can't hear where it's coming from, it's a creepy fucking sound.
Yeah, it's just like the Grudge. Everybody goes on about that sound, or whatever the fuck it was.
That sound didn't bother me.
Well, everybody else is.
Right.
Because everybody else is a bunch of normies.
Normies. But, so Peter gets home after he beats the fuck out of himself.
Skylar goes, I didn't sound like a hillbilly.
Yes, you did. Because you are a hillbilly.
I did not!
Down by the Dollar General! But, that scene where Peter's waking up and the whole house is dark, and Mama's up there in the fucking corner.
Dude, yeah.
And then fucking basically swims out of the room. I was like, oh.
There's a couple scenes where like she's in the corner again.
Yeah, well, he walks into the living room and there's old fucking Papa Bear burnt alive. So that scene I thought was actually really well done, because she's like, I need you to throw this book in the fire. I can't do it because it'll burn me. You know, that was a figment of her imagination. Earlier in the film, she threw that Charlie's journal that she drew all those images in. She threw it in the fire and then her arm caught on fire.
Yeah.
That's why she pulled it out. that was just a figment of her fucking
Was it,
imagination.
or was the... So, I think did it burn because Charlie was in her? And because when they embraced, her and her husband or whatever, like, something happened. There was, like, a sound in the music, or something happened, and there's actually a visible reaction in her, and the spirit transferred. And that's why he burned.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went back to... Then I think it went to... It went to somebody. I think it went to Peter. After that.
No, I thought it went back to her.
It may have.
That's why she cut her head off.
Yeah.
That's why she kept doing all that fucking... That's why she was doing all that weird shit.
Ah.
But so, yeah, it went... Yeah. After he caught on fire, that's when it went back into her. That's when she fucking went AWOL and started doing all that weird shit. But yeah, he looks around and you don't see her up. He doesn't see her up
you
in the
see
corner.
her because she's not in focus whatsoever,
and then
she's just sitting really still.
So the naked people, right? We see the okay. So right before this whole sequence of events happens, you see the house at daytime, and it's that wide angle view, and then it goes to nighttime.
I liked how they did that. How it was like,
Did you see all the people standing around the house?
I don't think so.
Okay, so when it goes from daytime, there's no one. Then it goes to nighttime. There's probably 35 or 40 people naked standing all around the house. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it at all.
Then I definitely didn't.
Skylar paused it and goes, "Did you see that? Did you see all those fucking people?" And I said, "No." She rewound it, and I mean, I like the way they did that too. No transition, just one scene to the next. Time frame anyway, from daytime to nighttime. There is 35 or 40 people standing at different elevations all around the house, all butt fucking naked.
Did not see that.
Yep.
How did I not see that?
Because you're so focused on the house.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why that scene's that way so you don't notice it. I was focused on the house. I wanted to see, a light flick on or, a shadow somewhere. I didn't fucking notice the 40 naked people standing around the house. But when he turned around that first time, did that guy that was standing in the doorway doing that creepy fucking smile? So that was the guy from the very beginning of the movie doing that creepy smile. At first, I thought that was the manifestation of that fucking demon.
Yeah.
Because he had gold body paint on, doing that fucking smile, and I was like, do I look at his dick? Do I look at his face? What do I do? I don't know what to do. But she fucking hops down off the roof, or off the ceiling, and then just fucking chases him. And then she's beating... Okay, so he climbs up in the attic, and I'm like, okay, there's gonna be fucking a bunch of people in the attic. She starts beating on the attic door, and I thought she was beating on the attic door with the pull down. She is headbutting the fucking attic door. Fast.
Yeah.
Okay, that is creepy as fuck. Okay, here's the next part. How did she get into the attic?
Through the window, right? Or no?
The window was closed. It doesn't open.
How did she get in there?
The only way into the attic was that attic access.
Yeah.
So she just fucking teleports into the attic. Okay? Ends up there fucking sawing her head off.
Yeah.
He goes to fucking peek around the corner. Grandmammy's not there. But a picture of him with his eyes fucking gouged out is.
Yes.
Okay, that's creepy. When he first walks into the attic, you see a naked woman standing in the fucking back corner.
Yes.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Because you only see her from the neck down. You don't actually see her face.
Because she doesn't have a head.
No, that one had a head.
Oh, that one did?
Yeah, that was just one of the naked people. And then, he starts fucking meandering around, and then all of a sudden there's a shit ton of fucking naked people.
Yeah.
Boom. Fucking Charlie's in him. It's just fucking weird, man.
And then he wakes up, and then there's that whole, you're
well,
guy now.
I would just assume that when he fell, it killed him. And then that's how Charlie fucking entered.
Payman.
What?
King Payman. That's the name of the demon
Thank you.
that inherits him.
Yeah. So he dives out the window and dies, and then sees his fucking mother's body float up into the little shack, the tree house. Thank you. And that's where all the fucking naked people are at. Fucking and Grandmammy's fucking bowing down with no head.
She's bowing down with no head.
All bloated and fucking.
Yeah. So this movie was fucking weird.
The weirdest part of that scene was the statue of Payman with fucking Charlie's head on it.
Yes.
So fucking creepy.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, hey, that's Charlie's head. And she's like, really? Oh, fuck.
Skylar did that, and I said, oh, fuck. So.
What would you give this movie out of 10?
So the way that I normally review movies, I would probably give this a 6 out of 10. Reviewing this as a genre-specific type of review, I would give it a 7.5 or an 8.
Okay. Having you explain everything in that fashion, my rating's definitely higher. I'd probably about 6 or 7.
I think that's fair. I would like to see more from this actor, or not actor, but director. He's obviously a horror enthusiast. If you watch, there was a little like featurette on the disc that I watched, and I mean I like the guy. He's obviously enthusiastic about horror films. I actually, on a side note from the movie, there was a couple things before the movie even started that Skylar and I are kind of pumped up for. There's a bunch of movies from that studio, A24 Productions or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, It Comes at Night. I wanted to see that when it was in theaters, and I never saw it.
We skipped all of the trailers. So.
Yeah, we watched all of the trailers. There's a couple trailers that we're actually going to get the movies from, or for this weekend. We're going to kind of have a little fucking movie marathon.
Nice.
But I enjoy these kind of movies. You know, I am one of the people that actually enjoyed Paranormal Activity.
I like the first two.
I thought the third one was good too.
Third one wasn't bad, but then at the end when it's all like culty and shit, I was like, what?
But it makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
does.
fits the story.
But once again, I was just left wanting more, I guess.
Watch the fourth one.
I tried, and I think it's not that I didn't want to keep watching. I was just there were people in the room talking.
Right.
I couldn't focus.
Watch the fourth one. Focus on it, and then it'll be like, oh, this all fucking makes sense now because it ties around all the way back to the first movie. But yeah, I mean, Skylar and I really like the Paranormal Activity movies. We like The Conjuring. We haven't seen Annabelle or any of the Annabelle movies, but we really like the Insidious films. I think those are really well done.
I like the Insidious films. I haven't seen the third or fourth, but
definitely check them out.
Yeah, the first two I really enjoyed.
The order in the way that the films actually go chronologically, it's 4, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
So the fourth one, Skylar and I watched that recently. We really enjoyed it. We actually did a marathon of all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We watched them all on the same day.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
do you have them?
I have a couple of them. I don't have the third or the fourth one.
Okay, that's what I need.
Just fucking go to Family Video and rent them for $2. I
think Joe has the first 3.
Yeah, I told him to buy the fourth. He got the third one because him and I were talking about it.
The one I saw, it was like literally all 3 of them in one case.
Yes.
Yep. By the way, I finally got Pacific Rim out of the security box.
What?
Pacific Rim Rising or whatever. Uprising, yeah. So when Joe bought the movie, he was with his niece and she forgot to have the checkout lady.
Oh, I
take it
told
out.
him how to get that off.
I found a magnet at work and brought it home. It was a magnet that was on a post, and I brought it home, slid it over the thing, and it just popped open.
I was just gonna cut it off.
Yeah, I tried doing that.
You didn't cut it off with a death wheel.
Nope.
I was gonna fucking cut the top of it off and just slide the movie out.
Nope. I used a magnet.
Science. But so yeah, I enjoy all those films. I enjoy that genre of movies. I've never really been a big slasher guy.
I like slashers.
I don't like
Depending
slasher.
on which
I don't
one
like
it is.
slasher movies because my mentality is, okay, this big motherfucker is chasing me. Number one, I'm smart enough. I'm gonna fight back Number 2, I'm not just gonna randomly fall down. Oh no, my leg. Oh, stabbed, dead. Like,
That's just the rules of the slasher film.
Yeah, that's why I don't like slasher films.
Yeah.
Because if some motherfucker is hunting me, I'm gonna kill them. They're not gonna kill me. I am going to kill them. And
there are characters like that.
If I die, but they're shitty characters like that.
Die.
Yeah, because they're dumb.
Because they suck.
Yeah.
There's no drama in winning in the first 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, but you could just escape in the 15, 20 minutes and then don't have to worry about it.
And then that character just escapes.
Yeah. Like, you know the joke, like, I don't have to outrun a bear, I just have to outrun you?
Yeah.
I am going to run faster than you. I will find a way. But, I was gonna say, have you seen The Strangers?
No.
Okay, so you obviously haven't
seen it. No, I've seen The Stranger. No, yeah, The Strangers. I saw the first one.
With, Liv Tyler?
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking The Outsiders, which I have not seen The Outsiders.
As far as Stay Golden Pony Boy?
Yeah, I haven't seen the original.
Yeah, watch it, it's good.
That's what I've heard. But yeah, Miranda and I, we watched the Strangers.
How do you feel about that movie?
Oh man, that was... It was too real. It's
okay,
too real. I was like,
this motherfucker had a shotgun, okay? Mm-hmm. And didn't just walk out of the house and leave. If you and I, okay, so just say you and I are like having a bro weekend. Mm-hmm. Like a bunch of people we're having a podcast retreat and a bunch of people are coming up. And you know me, I always have guns. And that scenario is happening to us. You're telling me that you and I aren't going to walk out of the house fucking with guns and be like, come get me.
I mean, I don't know. Supposedly that's based on a true story,
right.
So true events.
But threat response, if you are in a situation where you can't escape, you go into a room with only one way in and one way out, and you make your last stand with a gun pointed at the door.
Yep.
The moment that door opens, no matter who it is, you fucking kill them.
Which they did that in The Strangers. Mm-hmm. His friend shows up and he's fucking... Which is the dude from... It's fucking Dennis from Always Sunny.
Yep. So... But you're telling me that you couldn't have sat there for a couple more hours until fucking daylight and plugged the next fucking person to come through that door? And then when you run out of fucking shotgun shells, you beat them to death with that shotgun. So, they came out with a sequel to that film.
Yeah, and Miranda really wanted to watch it. I want to see it.
I also really want to see that, so maybe that'll fit into our horror movie marathon. But that's about all I got to say about that.
Yep, we're starting to run long, especially with the segment earlier. Adding on, I'm gonna have to add that in, but we're at 2 hours.
Oh fuck, I forgot. I thought that was included in what we recorded.
No, I stopped recording. We're at 2 hours flat right now, but
let's shut her down.
Listeners are a lot further. They're about 2 hours 42. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to check us out live on Facebook every Tuesday around 5:30 or 6. We're probably going to hopefully venture off into Twitch at some point soon. So
that is in the R&D department.
It is in the R&D. We're researching. We're developing.
We're doing stuff.
We're doing stuff.
And things.
Other than that, you can subscribe to Podcastrophe on Podbean.com, and you get the audio form of this podcast every Thursday. Soon going to be on iTunes and more. We are also currently still on the Journey into Comics Network feed, so if you're listening over there, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening to Podcastrophe on the Podcastrophe feed, subscribe to Journey into Comics. You get all kinds of shows, like Brews with Dudes, Journey into Comics, Journey into Wrestling, Gallif Radio, Adulting Ain't Easy, Kids for Sale, Poor News, Poor Entertainment, Foodies Watching Movies, Best of the Week. Yeah, I included Best of the Week as a show.
I'm just not going to acknowledge you.
Oh, yeah, but you get a ton of shows over there. I mean, we were over there. I mean, we're still part of the network, but we're branching out. We're doing our own thing now, and we're very proud of that. So please give us a listen, give us a subscribe, give us a like, share our stuff.
Leave us a review on Facebook.
Yeah, leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Send us things that you want us to talk about if you want. if you want to guest on the show.
Yes, I was gonna say that. If you want
wanna
to guest on the show, fucking send us a message and let us know. And that rhymed. And I need to go.
Alright, guys. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Dick.
I'm the casting couch Tyler. It's a different persona than normal Tyler.
Please make every day a big dick day. Bye, guys.
Bye. That turned out to be a really good episode.
Yeah, it did. We're not going 3 hours.
Fuck off. I forgot that we had 42 minutes of bullshit.
It was good bullshit.
Right. I'm not saying it's low quality, but this isn't generic bullshit, okay? This is name brand bullshit.
Alright, thank you, live feed, all one of you still watching.
Probably my wife.
Probably Skylar. Thank you for watching. And
Jack fucking jumped in here for a little bit.
Did. Towards the end. Didn't say nothing.
Yeah, thanks for saying nothing.
But yeah, we'll be back next week. And,
maybe sooner.
Maybe sooner. Who knows? Content is going to happen a lot. So, we will see you. Bye, guys.